All right, I think we're live now. Hold on a second. Let me just test it. Yes. Here's the YouTube. I'm going to post the YouTube link on IRC. I don't know if that's working. Can you click that link, see if that thing's working? Okay. It seems to be working, I think. All right. Anyway, are you still there? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, because there's like lag between us, I think. I don't know. Or maybe you're just not responding and it seems like it's lagged, but it's really not.
I can sorry. I can only hear voice from you.
Okay. Yeah, that's intentional. So anyway, are you political at all? I don't even know. I know you're a cook. You're a chef, right?
Yeah.
Are you political at all? Do you follow? Are you American?
No, not really.
Oh, so you don't know anything about like U.S.
Just stick
politics?
around.
You didn't watch the Kavanaugh hearing? Because that's the topic of this hangout. But I'm kind of waiting for like other people to pour in. Somebody like Lates or something. Uh, hold on. City Turbo looks like he wants to come.
Hold on, I lost you there.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay?
A little bit. It's probably my connection, but it's lagging and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right, we're having technical difficulties here, I think. Looks like City can't join the chat for some reason. Not compatible. Well, this sucks. So you didn't watch the Kavanaugh hearing. I assume you're not even interested in the Kavanaugh hearing.
No, I was out today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have a job, I assume, as a chef.
Yeah, I wasn't working today, but I was out. I was out doing stuff.
Okay. All right. Well, did you want to talk about something in particular
No,
then?
no. I just
If you're not a political if
I
you're
just saw this. I was like, oh, I'll click.
I mean, if you're not a political person, that's the kind of the point of this topic. But if you want to, this chat, I mean, this hangout.
No,
But if you wanted to talk about like food, I don't know how to cook like at all.
no. I wanted to.
You got any
I
pointers?
wanted to fuck with City Turbo.
Oh, why is that? What'd you want to fucking with him
It's
about?
funny. I don't know.
Do you know him personally?
Yeah. I try troll him nightly in here.
Oh, on IRC only though.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Are you guys friends?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, okay. Is he a cook too?
No, definitely not.
Are you a good cook? Are you
Yeah,
like are you a gourmet chef?
I'm a Michelin starred chef.
I don't know what that means, but I
Uh,
guess that seems like it's pretty good.
yeah.
Luke Moore, who is this? Is
Yeah.
that City Turbo?
Yeah. Can
Is
you
that
hear
you?
me?
Yeah, it's a little muffled, a little loud too, but I
Amen.
can hear you.
Oh,
Luke Moore, who is this?
Wait,
that's
there's
Yusuf.
echo. Maybe you might want to mute the YouTube channel or whatever that is.
Sorry. See, no, I'm sitting, man. I just put headphones on.
Okay.
You got me?
Oh, you're an Aussie. Okay, that's interesting. That's weird hearing you for the first time. I didn't know you sounded this way. I thought you were American all this time. Hello?
Oh, fuck. There's a.
Yeah. Technical difficulties.
Wait. Once I unplugged, hopefully it's good.
Okay, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay? Hello?
That's why you catch him in there very late at night. He's Australian. Time zones and all that. You know what I mean?
So right now over there, it's what time? 11 a.m.? I think he's on the like opposite side of the planet, right?
It's only 1:25 p.m. now.
1:25 p.m. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good then.
Who's this? Who's this dude trolling me?
Yeah, Jamie said he came out here because he wanted to like troll you or something. What was that, James? I didn't quite catch that.
Yeah.
Why do you have a blowtorch in your hand? What are you doing? Jimmy? Hello? I can't tell if people can hear me or not. I have no idea because it's like these like lapses in audio.
Yeah, this isn't the best communication going on in this.
Really?
Yeah.
What's going on? Am I dropping out? Is it?
It's a 30-second.
There's a 30-second lag? Shit.
Yeah.
That's weird. I never had that problem on here before. I mean, I haven't been on here in a while, but last time I did a podcast,
and I can hear myself.
You can hear yourself?
And I got earphones on, so that
I don't know what's going on. I don't think it's on my end because I'm wearing a headset.
You guys see that, Dad?
Is that jimmychef or what?
Yeah, that's jimmychef right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said he came on here to tease you.
In the flesh, Turbo.
Nice.
In the flesh, big boy.
Do I get a video?
Do you get a video?
Yeah, how I just turned mine on. How do I get that?
Yeah, I don't see you. But that's okay. I mean, you don't.
Turn camera on.
Are you sick there, Jimmy, or?
I just did a dab.
Bit of a dab?
Oh, okay. All right. So this was supposed to be a podcast on the Kavanaugh hearing, but it looks like neither of you are political and neither of you follow American politics. So I suppose we can just wing it and talk about
whatever we were doing non-politics.
Oh, okay. So what do you want to talk about then, City Turbo? Because did you want to talk about like weightlifting or something? I think that's your thing, right?
You want to talk about PEDs?
Mac, I didn't think he did anything. I don't think he did anything, bro.
Who?
Kavanaugh.
Oh, okay, good. Then we agree there. All right. So do you think she's lying, or do you think she's just batshit crazy and she's just kind of
I think maybe she's nuts,
misidentified and yeah. I mean, I was struck by just the. Did you watch the hearings, by the way?
No. I was out. I was out doing shit today.
Oh, dude, I'll post a link later to his opening statement, but it was so persuasive. It was so impassioned. I mean, it was.
He cried.
I literally cried. I swear to God. I mean, not like bawling or anything, but yes, I did shed a tear.
No.
I had to get. Did he cry? He almost cried.
That's what I read. I'm like, why'd he cry?
But a lot of people were brought to tears, men, including me. Like, no, I know it was very touching, really, really touching, because you could feel his pain. I mean, they literally destroyed this man's life. Oh shit, we lost Jimmy. I guess he's not interested in this conversation. But anyway, yeah, I thought he was extremely convincing. I thought he was very sympathetic, and I could empathize with him. I mean, I can just imagine what he's been through. I mean, he had an impeccable career, an impeccable record, not a whiff of any kind of impropriety his entire life. And all of a sudden they hit him with this, like 53 years into his life. It's like out of left field. then just the allegations just kept piling on, and they just got more ludicrous. Like
Sorry
one,
about that. I'm back.
oh, you're back. Okay, cool. Yeah, they just kept getting more ludicrous. I mean, if they had just stayed with the original accuser, if they had just been her, then nobody would have called it a smear campaign. Nobody would have called it, you know, a witch hunt or whatever. It would have just been what. But then once all the allegations started pile on, and it eventually got up to 5, and every allegation got more and more absurd, more and more extreme. Like gang rapes, he's drugging women, and I mean, it was just preposterous. That's when it was obvious what was happening. So, and I'm sorry, but I know a lot of the people on Fox, well, not on Fox, but on, CNN, even Fox, they found the woman to be very believable and sympathetic. I didn't find that. I mean, you can understand why Fox hosts would say that because, again, how do they get their revenue? It's through sponsors, right? So if they go out there and say, this woman's a liar, she's a whack job, she's lying and believe a word, acting all meek, whatever, think about the boycotts, of the string of boycotts that would ensue if they went out and said that. So no, they made it seem like they were respectful. They made it seem like she was sympathetic, but I thought her
Oh, shit.
phony. There you are. I see your camera now. Your camera's working.
I got it, bitch.
All right. Yeah, show us those quads. I know you like showing off your quads.
Shit. Really?
Yeah.
You want me to get jacked?
Let's see it.
I don't know if I can do it. Pressure's on.
Give us a little striptease.
I've never done this before.
What, do a striptease for people on?
Yeah, I've never done
MMA-TV?
camera and shit. No, fuck that. I do it for real, man. Don't need that.
Are you in a warehouse?
Yeah, I'm in a shed. I've bought an apartment. It comes next year.
Okay.
A new apartment. Oh, I'm too.
Oh, you are pretty jacked. No, I can tell.
Too short.
Yeah. I can't believe you're doing a striptease. No, but you are pretty jacked. I can tell with your clothes on. That's cool.
Do you want me to take my shirt off?
Sure, go ahead, do it. I can't donate any money though. Like, there's no like clink, 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 clink.
No, it's good.
We could move over to like man. Okay. We can move over to like my free cams if you want.
Oh, you might make some money, hey? You might make some money.
Yeah, no, we could all donate.
Let's get some Patreon. Get this angle. Fuck it. I've never done this shit before.
What? Done what? Google Hangouts?
No, like cam even.
Oh.
I'm usually headset voice only, man.
Yeah, it's weird. Like the frame rate on your webcam is like horrible. It's like very choppy. It's very disjointed. It's like a 1992 webcam or something.
Yeah,
but that's okay.
PC.
Yeah, I don't know. I
live in Australia, you know.
Yeah,
might be time to upgrade that.
Oh yeah, well that could be, but
yeah. I turned off torrents. I think it's working good now. There's no 30-second delay and all that shit.
Yeah, I'm not noticing any delay. Is that a knife you're brandishing there?
He's dabbing. He's going.
Okay.
Dab.
Is there something special about that knife? You gonna cut yourself?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Because I think I remember you posting a knife in the chat a few days ago. You were like showing off some sort of knife. I don't know. Is there something special about knives? Like really sharp ones?
Yeah, I mean, I have a bunch of different knives. For
you collect? Oh, do you collect them?
I mean, not like to collect, but I have a collection.
You'd want to.
Well, let's do it. I mean, nobody here is talking politics, so let's just do a show and tell. Let's see your knives.
I wanted to
guess.
talk about PEDs.
One second.
Okay, talk about PEDs. Let's do it. Why?
What do
Wait.
you-
First of
What
all,
do you want to know?
well, you said you don't take them anymore, right?
Oh yeah, I did for a long time. I mean, I'm fucking turning 40 this year.
So you are on them or no?
No, I'm off.
Oh, you're off
I'm
of them.
completely natural, and I've got no
Oh,
issues.
okay. Oh, that's interesting because I figured that as
And
people
I
get
rebounded too, so that's bullshit that you can't rebound.
I figured that as people get older, that's when they'd be more likely to start taking, human growth hormone and testosterone shit
I
because
started at 27.
okay. And how long were you on them?
30, I was pretty fucking jacked. I was kind of on a crusade to when I hit 30, I thought like, I'm gonna get 30, I'm gonna go and come.
Jesus Christ, Jimmy, you
I'm
all right
gonna
over
be
there?
insane.
Yeah, I'm good.
And I got a couple of pictures, but I wasn't that lean. I was okay, but wasn't that lean. Not like bodybuilders, not like a proper comp. I look like shit. So for 3-4 years, I
Why'd you
did
quit?
it.
Why'd you quit? Side effects?
No. It was more of a just holding back. Like I didn't want to fuck my health.
Oh,
I read a lot, so I knew what the side effects were,
mhm.
and I chose not to take it to that next level. But in that period, I did experiment a lot.
Oh, really?
I went up to 1,000 milligrams a week of test, and I blew up like a fucking fish. That weekend, not that weekend, but 2 weekends later, I tried to walk across a field, 500 meters.
Uh-huh.
Every muscle in my body cramped. My car, it was wet and it was raining, so it was on like slush. And every calf, I had to stop about 4 times. I couldn't even walk.
Why? Is that normal?
That's
Is that normal?
That's the side effect.
Oh, and that's normal.
It was for my body.
Wow. And what does that wear off after a while, or?
Yeah, you gotta just stand still, and you can't fucking move until the body stops spasming and stops
Spasming. Holy shit. Yeah, no
it
thanks. That's
stops
not for me.
cramping, and then you can walk again, and it's like, oh man, that's what happens when you even start to go a bit high.
Oh, I see. Because you were starting to get to that next
I
level.
was experimenting and pushing
Oh, I see.
more. Like, okay, so we produce about 60 milligrams a week. 60. So if you took 100 milligrams a week, you're already nearly double. Now, a lot of TRT is 100 milligrams a week for a 50-year-old. That's nearly double of what we produce every day. We produce 40 to 60 milligrams a week. So if you're taking 250 milligrams a week, okay, now if you take 1,000 milligrams a week, oh fuck, you're starting to get. Now I've heard of people who become desensitized and they go 2 grams, 4 grams, 6. Stupid. They're probably getting fake shit anyway. But it's hard work.
Were you being coached? Like, do you have a friend that gave you all this? Where'd you get all this stuff? Where were you getting all your information from?
No, I coach myself.
Really? Like what? Web? Like
I studied it
Googling?
for a bit. Yeah, well, I mean, aren't we all from the
I
web?
wouldn't even know where to find it.
So
Like, I wouldn't
you
even know
don't
where
know
to get
any
steroids.
underground? Are you
No,
telling me?
no, I don't. Like,
You don't,
where you have
you
friends
don't
that
know MMA tracker?
MMA who?
MMA tracker? You've never heard of that?
No. What's that? Or who's that?
Well, there's a lot of forums and shit where you can get books like Dan Duchesne and things like that, like Body Opus.
Is that
These were the underground bodybuilders from like the 90s, and
mm,
and people like all the latest dudes use their techniques.
uh,
So Body Opus was all about low carbs.
oh, that's
You can Google it, Body Opus. Dan Duchesne. He was like a nerd, but he was a trainer, and he used to make a lot of dragon women because he was a trainer, and he'd find like the hot chick who was into fitness, and he would get them jacked like chicks. It's
really
very
that's
he was like
gross.
he came out with the first like the ephedrine, caffeine, aspirin, the ETA stack. It was ECA stack. That was Dan Duchesne. It was there's so much shit. It's famous. So I was reading all of this shit. So I just, why would I need a coach? I know more than probably half of
Well,
them
I mean, I
anyway.
figured because
Bullshit.
you were just starting with this stuff. I figured you probably didn't, have too much experience. You'd want to get some advice from the professionals or people who have more experience with it. I
You
don't know.
can
So
read.
why'd you stop? Like okay, let me ask you this question. Well, I'm not going to do it, but I mean, if I were to
I'll
consider doing
coach you.
something like that, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm never going to do it to trust me. But I'm just saying, like, if I did want to do that for, let's say, I don't know, 6 months, let's say, and then
Yeah.
stop, like, just to get jacked in 6 months and stop, would I have any like long-term
No,
side effects? Nothing.
not the way I do it. No.
So,
See, what I did was I read a lot of Olympic stuff as well. So I really read into how the Olympic athletes got through their tests and how they performed best. And then I read a lot of the bodybuilding shit and I put the two together. So I take one philosophy and I use the other one and I blend them together. So, for instance, clenbuterol. The bodybuilders use it for 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. The Olympic athlete uses it for 2 days on, 2 days off for 2 weeks, and then they take 2 weeks off, and then they go again 2 days on, 2 days off. So see how the philosophy is similar, but it's completely different for your health. That's what I did, and I used it for steroids. So instead of doing a 10-week cycle, I would do 2 to 3 weeks, take a week off, and very low dose, like TRT. But for me and for my diet, I'd explode. I'd put on 10 kilos in 8 weeks after doing 2 weeks on, 1 week off, 2 weeks on, 1 week off, on 10
hmm,
kilos heavier.
hmm.
It's insane results. And I'm doing like 250 milligrams a week of testosterone and maybe 200 milligrams of Deca.
So I don't understand. If everything was working so wonderfully, why'd you stop? Why didn't instead of like keep increasing the dosage and stuff, why didn't you
Well,
just
it's
stick
gonna.
with what was working?
Well, I'm 5'9" and I'm 97 kilos.
Hmm.
So
All right,
200.
what if I wanted
How
something?
much pressure can the heart take?
Oh, so there are kind of like side effects then, right? I mean, if you're saying
I'm
your
I'm
heart's
good. I'm
affected,
good, but if I kept going, like, what's the point of being 140 kilos?
yeah, yeah. No, I hear you.
Nobody
But
cares, and you look like a stupid idiot every time you walk down the street. Back when I was really jacked, when I was taking it, it's ridiculous. It's really weird when you are taking it. The real definition is that you look really sharp and round. You can be just the same size naturally, but you can't be that sharp and round. And Aussie, 30 degrees Celsius. I'll walk to the shops with the tank top on, and every single eye will be on my arms.
Every
And
single what?
every single person will be looking.
At your arms?
They look around. Every fucking person, all 30 of them, they're all looking at my bicep because it's jacked as fucking shit.
Are they
Like,
still huge? Let me see. Flex your bicep. I want to see that.
my long sleeve shirt.
We're looking at that.
What are your measurements? What are
My
your
triceps.
I mean, I have like 15-inch arms, so it's like it's really
17,
pathetic.
but,
But what are you, like 18 inches or something?
17, but
For your height, that is for your height,
that
that is huge. You're like 5'9", right?
Yeah, 5'9". I got 24-inch quads each.
So, okay, what if you want it to be a little bit safer? Well, you already said it's safe, but
I could do that.
what about just human growth hormone? That's it.
Okay, I took human growth hormone at 2 IU a day, Monday to Friday.
Oh, you took that as well. I see.
No, I experimented. I've told you.
That's not
said
nearly
I've experimented a lot. So within.
But that's not nearly as effective, I assume.
No, you don't get anything from that. I wasn't on steroids at the time. You should combine them if you want to do that. I'd been off them, and I thought I was just experimenting. I thought, hey, I had access to 2 IU. Let's try it. I bought a bottle. Came in the fridgy packy thing. You gotta put it in the fridge. Cost a fucking fortune.
Oh, really?
It's so much money. Yeah, well, back when I got it was ridiculous. I just looked at the site, and I can find it for $32 US for 10 IUs. So that's two IU a day. That's 1 week. 35 bucks a week.
Have you checked your testosterone level? Because I mean, I'm getting in my 40s, and I assume my testosterone's low. I mean, I don't know, but I was actually considering maybe getting TRT.
I hadn't, but there's no way I'm low.
Oh, really? Why? How do you know?
Seems a little low.
I've been off steroids for nearly 10 years, and I've taken orals just on their own, and they're supposed to tank your system. I get bigger. I stay bigger. There's no way. It's impossible. I would shrink.
No erectile dysfunction.
No, never a problem. Never. I'm like a.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we don't need to go there. Too much information. Okay,
I'm like a
you're good there.
2 a day.
Wow. How old are you? Did you say
39?
Okay, I'm a couple years older than you, so
I'm gonna see how this works. I won't be able to hear you for a second.
But you're gonna take off your shirt? Oh yeah, you're pretty jacked.
I need a light source.
Yeah, you're pretty jacked.
Need a light source.
Yeah. You have to back up a bit so we can see more. But
I don't have a light.
Holy shit, dude. Yeah, you're pretty big.
If I can get a tricep, man. Oh, there we go. Bit of a horseshoe, bit of package.
What's your body fat percentage? What, 16%, 17%?
I don't know. I'm pretty fat. I'm not really, but I am. I should be a lot. I mean, I do 12-hour night shifts.
You're what people would call fluffy. Yeah.
Some parts.
I'm in a bulking
parts,
phase
yeah.
right now, and I'm a little bit fluffy too. I'm over 20% body fat, but like I'm planning at the end of the year to start my cut, and
So, are
then
you out in the garage or some shit, or what's the?
Yeah,
he's in a shed.
I'm in a three shed. I'm
What's
between
the
places.
what's the backdrop? Like what's going on over there?
I got my motorbike,
So you literally live in a shed,
and I
or
got
so you
my
literally
real
live.
bike. It's my real bike, and then this is the 954 that I'm gonna.
That's where you actually
Yeah.
live. But that's where you. How long have you been living there?
Um, 4 months. I was living waterside, and they renovated the place, and I bought an apartment in this new complex, and I was going to live there until the new complex was built, and they sold it and renovated it, and so I've moved into my mum's back shed, so I got rent free and then I move into December next year. I'll move into a high rise apartment that I've bought,
Hmm.
which is going to be it's contracted. It's legit. Oh, wait till you see that. It's insane.
Does it get? I mean, I don't know what the weather is like in Australia, but what is it cold in there? Does it get cold in there at night?
Oh, it's fucking ridiculous. It's too cold and too hot.
Oh man.
It's brutal. Oh, and over here is my kitchen. I got a fridge and a toaster oven. Oh, I can't work this fucking camera. Okay, so kitchen, toaster oven.
Wow. So
Yeah,
why aren't you in the house like with your mom? Like why in the shed? Just privacy or there's no
I,
guest? Isn't there like a guest room or something?
Mixed Molly
yeah,
Whopper.
she's
Definitely
got.
new.
It's a 3 bedroom room,
Sure.
but when you're an adult, fuck that shit. Also, when you do 12-hour night shifts and you're sleeping during the day, you don't want someone walking around the house all day.
12-hour night shift. What do you do?
Sleep disorders.
What's that?
Sleep disorders. So I've been setting up EEG and monitoring brainwaves. Been doing it for 19 years.
Oh, like as a technician?
Bit of everything.
Oh, I see.
I score it, I do it, I fix it, I do everything.
Hmm.
Mac, what do you do?
I'm retired, man. I've been retired for a few years, but I mean, I guess I'm a programmer and an entrepreneur. Yeah. Yeah, I've been retired since I was 39. For like 3 years now, I've been retired.
All right.
But yeah, I'm a senior software engineer. Yeah.
I started with computer science and I made a program that did pulse oximetry. So it's what all the watches and shit are using these days. They're 10 years behind. And it measures your oxygen saturation. So when you sleep, it goes down about 2 points. And then we measure your heart rate as well. And using those two together, if you have obstructions, if you hold your breath, it's going to drop. And then as you arouse, your heart rate's going to skyrocket. It's going to go up. And then how many dips you do gives a oxygen desaturation index.
Oh man,
So I
pretty
did it.
knowledgeable with that. Are you formally trained?
Yeah, I did computer science. That's how I got into my job.
Oh, interesting.
So we're both software people, although I hate software now. I hate
Really?
programming.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
I hate it with a vengeance. Hate
I'm.
it.
You hate. Wait, you hate what now? You hate.
Hate programming. Oh man.
Really? Why?
Well, I started using National Instruments LabVIEW, and
Yeah.
it's wiring diagrams, black box.
Uh-huh.
and then you make subroutines. In that subroutine, you make that a routine, and then you save it, and then you add that to the other one. Man, I'll never go back to typing again. It's next level.
I love programming because to me, programming. Have you ever go on like coding binges where you're
Oh,
just like
that's
in the
how I did it.
zone and
You
like
can't do it without it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's
While it's
to
fresh,
me
you got to do it.
what's so great about programming is that like the sky's the limit. You can create anything you want. That's what it's not mechanical. It's not something robotic where you just like, like people who do data entry or they go to their work and they do the same routine every single day. Programming, it's whatever you want, you
Yeah,
know?
it's like building a bridge. You got a masterpiece there,
Yeah.
and
And
it's
you can
yours.
make all
You did
kinds of
it. You did
masterpieces.
it.
There's so many different fields that you could, go into.
Mm.
So, I mean, I don't have to work because I'm independently wealthy, but um, I still do actually work. I have multiple projects that I'm currently working on, and I mean, I'm kind of like losing motivation on a few of them because I'm a little bit OCD. So when I don't know if you have the same problem, but like when I get stuck on something, on like a problem, um, I can't get past it, right, until I solve it. I don't know. It's a rare thing. It has its
Yeah.
pros and cons, but I have that problem where like once I'm like when I'm stuck on a problem, I have to like, I'll like take a nap and then I'll like get back up and then I'll like work on it again. But I refuse to move on to something else until I solve it properly. And it's the same
That's
thing. Like sometimes I won't launch a site, like make it public, until like every little thing that I want to get done is finished, which is bad. I mean,
you know what
you're supposed to be iterative, but I have
that's
that
how
bad habit.
it talks to us.
Like, let me just add this one feature. Oh, let me add this one more feature, one more feature, one more feature. Oh, it's not perfect enough. And then it's like, you know,
And then you can't get to sleep, and then you wake up with the solution to it.
yeah. Well, yeah, actually, sometimes it'll come to me in the shower or
While you sleep.
yeah, or in your sleep. Yeah.
We consolidate, so we experience it now, and it goes to short term, and then as we sleep, the subconscious, which we can't really control, processes it, changes it, and what we're thinking of, it'll back it up, so to
Yeah.
speak.
It's to me, it's particularly exciting when you're learning something new, even though it's a little bit more challenging. Like right now, I'm working on a couple of projects. Well, I'm considering two projects. One of them is in robotics, but there it's like a huge learning curve.
Have you been using Arduino?
I got an Arduino kit. Do you know what that is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I've got an Arduino too,
Yeah, I got an Arduino kit
and a Raspberry
and I've been
Pi.
working through the projects and it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy.
Hmm.
Um, but
Just step on
I
motors.
also downloaded a whole bunch of books on like electrical engineering and stuff, but it can get pretty heavy. So there's quite a bit of a learning curve there. But
Electrical engineering goes deep
yeah, yeah, it does.
to do it
But I
properly.
think to basic projects, you can pretty much get started fairly quickly. Once you have the fundamentals, it's not that hard to build basic, electronics. It's just basic. Once you have the fundamentals, it's just buying the sensors and the components and just piecing them all together. That's really all it is. I
Yeah,
mean, for basic ones, but
it,
and I even bought
it
a
sounds
3D
like that,
printer.
but okay,
I even
okay.
bought.
Let's use the example of a quadcopter. It sounds really cool that you can buy the blades, you can buy the
Mhm.
things.
The
Okay,
motors, yeah.
try making that algorithm to make it stable.
Yeah, that's probably a bit challenging.
Yeah. So if
Yeah,
you
but
want to make
I wouldn't start with a
you want to make a
quadcopter.
robot that's gonna walk or something,
Yeah, that's
oh,
complicated,
it's
sure.
not really
No,
just
I'm
putting
not
the
starting.
bits
No,
together and it just does it.
no, I
Mm,
wasn't starting with anything so advanced.
mm, mm.
I'll tell you what
That
the first
sounds
project.
great. Like for us, but it does sound fantastic and easy. But oh man, the more you dig into it, that's a PhD right there.
Yeah, no, the first project
Easily.
that I was working on is okay, so I have DirecTV in my house.
Mm.
So I have like 7 TVs all around the house, and each box is like $7. And it seems like such a waste, right? You're spending all this money for all these extra boxes, and all you really need to do is have a switcher like just to switch. Like when you go into a new room, you just switch the box, and it should just relay to the, to that receiver.
Like
And I
splitting it.
figured, yeah, exactly. So I figured, how hard can it be to just create like a little splitter, and then just have a remote that wirelessly switches the switch, right? It trips the switch, and then you can have multiple of those. Depending on how many TVs you want to see at the same time, that's how many of these little devices, these little switchers you would need. So it seems like a pretty nice first project, right? So that's I think that's where I'm leaning towards as my first project, but I'm not sure. Does that sound
Are you
difficult
doing
to
it
you?
at
It
a
doesn't.
hard
I
level?
was actually surprised that it doesn't exist already. I looked on Amazon. I'm like, let me see if this already exists. It doesn't exist. I don't know. Maybe it does now, but last I checked, it doesn't exist.
You're doing it at a hardware level though, not a
Yes.
software level.
Yeah, hardware level.
Ooh.
Why? What's the problem? Why?
Is there patents?
Oh, I didn't plan on selling it. I mean, this was.
No, but can you copy their patent? Like at least software, you can download the driver and shit. If you're doing it hardware,
Did you say patent?
yeah. Like, can you actually get say you do an Arduino and you make your own like SV output?
Uh-huh. Why do
Uh,
I need a patent for that? If it's just for
it
like
has to
personal
be
use
encoded
as
in
a
that exact to match the TV, doesn't it?
I don't know. I was thinking something a lot more basic than that. I mean, we're
So
talking literally just
unless
a
you're
switch.
running
We're literally
software
just
over the
talking about
top,
a switch, right? Inside
yeah,
of
okay,
like a splitter.
yeah. Well, that's just splitting your network traffic and shit.
Yeah.
Not
I mean,
actually.
it's fundamentally it seems
You're
pretty
not
basic.
actually splitting your feed and re-encoding it and things like that.
Well, why would it be re-encoding it? Wouldn't it just
Well,
be
you
switching
could.
from one output to the
Well,
other?
you got to trick it. You got to tell it you only got one instead of seven.
Yeah.
You could. Like, I'm just thinking sky's the limit, man.
I don't know. I mean,
Why go the easy way when you can do it the hardest way?
yeah, I mean, these are just ideas that I was considering because, I didn't want to do anything too complicated for my first project. Just want to get, you got to get your feet wet, right?
Yeah.
And it's
I
really
bought
a lot of people. A lot of people they stay away from this stuff because the learning curve is just so they crack open a book and they're like, oh my God, this is too overwhelming. So then they just drop it. But what people don't realize is just by tinkering a little bit, right? It becomes fun and you just learn. It's so much easier to learn
baby
hands-on
steps.
than by reading a book. You can read a book like from cover to cover, and at the end of
Doesn't
it,
mean you
you'll have
know it.
no fucking clue
Yeah. Okay.
where to
No
go
way.
from
No way.
there, right?
No. Does not mean you
It's
know.
so much more
Absolutely.
effective to just tinker and then maybe supplement your knowledge with books.
I always say prototype and start from just one light on.
Absolutely.
That's your
Yeah,
prototype. It works. You know it works.
absolutely.
Now you've got a starting point.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
if you
no,
make a mistake, you know that bit works. You
yeah,
know what I
and with
mean?
the Arduino kits, they make it so easy because it comes like a little breadboard. It comes with the little sensors and the basic stuff, so it makes it really easy. And the same thing with programming, right?
I've got my
If you're
Arduino
not
here.
if you're not a programmer and you've never you're new to it or to a new language, you just tinker, and then super easy. Yeah, and then the other project that I was mulling is artificial intelligence. I've been fascinated with artificial intelligence for
Been talking to
years.
Rec too much.
What's that?
Been talking to Rec too much. This is my
Yeah.
Arduino.
Oh, what version's that? Is that the basic version or the?
I got a few for my type of stuff. I got a pulse oximeter with it. You know, the body wear stuff. So I got like a temperature sensor and pulse oximeter,
Hmm.
which means you put it over your finger and it
Yeah.
measures your oxygen saturation.
Yeah.
So you
That
can,
wait, that Arduino kit came with that sensor? Really?
no, I bought it extra.
Oh, okay, okay.
And that's the Arduino there. And then
Yeah, that looks
this
different.
is the breadboard and shit. that I got to play with, so I
Right.
can test and.
Yeah, mine came in a box. It didn't come in a bag like that.
I got mine in bits and pieces. I bought the Arduino, and then I wanted temperature because I want to do circadian rhythm shit.
So did you build anything?
Not yet. It's
Oh,
all
not
still
yet.
in the box.
Oh. How long ago did you get that?
2 months. 3
Oh,
months.
so you're new too. Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah. I've been reading. I've got a few books that I've been reading in my spare time. I'm like you, yeah. That's why when you said it, I thought, oh, you got an Arduino.
Yeah. No, I'm just a hobbyist now.
That's the cheap
And
way to do it.
that's the problem. I think being a hobbyist, it's like
And I got my Raspberry Pi,
you're so easily distracted. Oh wow, look at that. You really went all in.
which I've got. I've put RetroPie and shit. I've got all these.
Yeah. I was
All these
considering
micro
getting
SDs. Talks to my big screen TV.
Yeah, I'll eventually need to get a Raspberry Pi too, because I'm gonna start doing internet related shit, and yeah, so I'll need to upgrade to that.
So this got a little.
But for now, I think the Arduino is pretty good.
Well, the Arduino talks to stepper motors and stuff, so
Yeah.
that does all your action stuff.
How do you plan to make the contraptions? Are you going to use a Lego set? Or you have a 3D printer? I actually bought a 3D printer, and
How are you going to get it to
sucks.
work?
It fucking sucks. I
Yeah.
don't like my 3D printer at all.
You need to be a
much
fucking
more.
wizard to get it to work.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I thought it was going to be faster than it is and more accurate. I don't know, but it's really shitty. And it's one of the, it's kind of not top of the line, but it's up there. I mean, I spent like $1,400 on it, but it's
that's all right for a 3D.
yeah. No, what I want, I can't wait to, there's ones now that they have like a resin. You've seen those? They're amazing. They're much faster, and they're high quality. Yeah.
I reckon you should just like fucking send it to someone and they send it in the mail.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for
Spend
prototypes,
$50 and get it in the mail.
Yeah. But I mean,
Let them buy the printer and work out how it works and all that sort of shit.
No, but you want the convenience of being able to build your prototypes right there immediately.
Are you a 3D CAD person?
No.
Don't do it then.
No. I figured I would just, I don't know.
You have to be like a 3D CAD genius. Everything is like, you have to program everything.
Eventually,
manually.
Sure. Eventually, yeah. My stepdad is, he that's what he does for a living.
Do you know how much time it takes? When I was at uni, I was with some engineers, and they would spend like 20 hours doing the smallest thing.
Really?
You could spend like for some of the 3D printed stuff I've seen on the internet, they must have spent 300 plus hours just on that like $8 item.
What worried me is that
just in CAD, and they know what they're doing too.
Right now, I have the 3D printer in my basement, and what worried me is I started reading articles saying that that's bad, that because those fumes they get in your brain and they can cause, long-term side effects, and I'm like, uh-oh. But yeah,
Drinking water too, probably.
I don't know. You can do it with Lego sets as well. That's what a lot of people do when they first start out. Lego sets are very good for prototyping.
I had the biggest Lego set as a kid.
So wait, what caused you to buy that Arduino set and stuff? What did you plan on building?
For sleep stuff, I want to do circadian rhythm, which is your sleep-wake cycle. So you need to know your temperature. Your core body temperature does swings with your circadian rhythm.
And that's something you're trying to build, like brand new. It doesn't exist. Like this thing doesn't exist.
Well, it's kind of like what watches do, a bit more.
There's nothing that checks your circadian. Does a Fitbit check your circadian?
They pretend.
I know Fitbits track your sleep.
But they just use an algorithm. They don't actually do it.
Hmm. You know what would be fucking awesome? Is because I've always been, if you can create one of those machines that actually works, that can induce lucid dreaming, oh man, that would be fucking
I had
awesome.
a lucid dream the other night. It was
Did you
crazy.
really?
Do
Oh
you want
man, I
to hear
haven't
it?
had one in years.
Do you want to hear it? Oh,
Yeah,
was
go
shit
ahead.
for it. Okay, so I was laying on my side. It was the weirdest shit, and I had this pillow on my neck and a pillow here, and I was hugging it. And in my dream, like I was asleep. My dog, which is like 10 years dead. I was hugging my dog, and
Uh-huh.
and I woke up in it, and I'm like, "No, this isn't real." And but I can hear her. I can hear her breathing. It's like full audio hallucination,
Right.
and I can feel her fucking tails hit my legs,
So did you use the opportunity to
and
like,
I stayed in there.
what'd you do?
I just like relaxed, and I just stayed in there. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool. But and I'm starting to question myself at the same time, going, "Wait, is this real or is it? No.
But
Is
you
this
didn't do anything.
real?
But you didn't. You just sat there. You didn't like use it to like fly and I don't know, have
No, I used it to
superpowers.
hug my puppy, man.
Oh, is that? Well, I guess. Well, it's been
I
dead for a
got some
while. So yeah.
love.
No, you're right. You're
I
right.
was, I was
That's a
soaking in
good.
the love, and
You
she's
could have
there.
flown around like Superman with your puppy. You know,
But
you
no,
could have
I
flown to
thought
the Eiffel Tower with your puppy.
I was weighted. I felt the weight on the shoulder. It wasn't like flatness. No. It was very structured, but it was mad hallucination. It was very. It was nice, but it was.
Do you do drugs,
I
by
guess
the
it was
way?
good.
I mean, that's probably a nice little segue there. Do you do drugs? Like those, like
What?
hallucinogenic drugs, psychedelics?
I haven't in the last 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Um,
I don't either.
I've done a lot in the past. Yeah.
Okay. So it wasn't, you didn't get a lucid dream with that, right? It
I
was,
know. I've been
oh,
sober for
okay.
ages. No.
Oh man, dude, I envy you. I have a friend who claims, I'm still skeptical, but he claims that he gets lucid dreams like almost daily.
I
And I'm
get them
like,
from
what?
rebound, from sleep deprivation.
That's a fucking gift, man. Well, shit, then just,
No,
you
it's
should
from stay. It's not getting enough sleep. It's a punishment. But then I get to hug my dead dog,
well, you could do it once in a
and I can
while.
hear her breathing on me. It's like, oh, and I get all
Lucid
that.
dreams are
And then
amazing, man.
the memory flutters
It's
that
like,
come back.
it's like,
It's like I was there back in those days.
yeah.
So it was those other tangents that the brain was doing at the same time.
Doug run.
What is that? Medical cannabis nug run?
Nice. I'm jelly.
I know nothing about pot,
I haven't smoked in about a month.
zero, or any kind of drugs.
Whatever, Drew.
I'm
Whatever,
a straight arrow.
Oh,
I don't even drink, like, at all.
you gotta start learning.
I don't know. I'm fine, man. Because they say that's, it's bad for your heart, it's bad for all sorts of shit.
You might
I'm
die
fine.
the earliest.
What?
You might die the earliest.
Why?
I don't know.
How?
Well, I've seen 100-year-olds who are still smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. Who
That
drink
doesn't
every
mean it's
day.
good for you.
It doesn't mean that you live
But that means
forever.
they're
if
the
you-
exception, not the norm. That's
It
not.
doesn't mean you live forever if you abstain.
What is that?
That's
Wax.
Oh.
Get a bit of waxage.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like there's a lot of people in MMA-TV that are big potheads.
Yeah. I wish I was.
yeah. What's going on with that?
I'm in transition. I used to be 10 years ago. I'll smoke every day. Sure.
Jimmy, do you live in a state where it's legal?
No, I'm in New York
In
City.
New York.
Oh, I see.
It pretty much is here.
But you get drive-bys, man. You pick it up on the phone. Hey, you see, you be at the front. Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
How many states is it legal in right now? I know it's legal in California, but where else? I think there's a few other states, right? There was
Nevada.
like a big referendum recently where
A bunch of them. Medical and a lot of them.
are you addicted?
Oh yeah.
Really? That much? Oh wow.
It affects your sleep if
How
you.
do you like being on it? Like, or is it almost like a burden now that you're kind of addicted to it?
No, it's just the shit, dude. I don't know.
See, that's why I would never just start because I have kind of an addictive personality, and I know that if I just start with something like that, and if I really like it, I'm like, uh-oh, that's big trouble for me. A little bit of impulse control problems.
You know,
So
um,
that's another reason I don't play video games. I don't like to play video games. I don't like to
well,
play because I know that if I like, I'll just like do it nonstop, and that it's just bad. Like I said, I have a little bit of OCD.
you know how they call like weed psychedelic? Never realized it until it wasn't my first LSD trip, but it was about 2 or 3 deep, and I was just getting comfortable in the climb, and I took a bad bong hit, and it went, and then the next day when I came down and it was all out, did another bong hit, and it was like, ooh, that's actually come back. And I'm like, ooh, that's not the LSD. That's actually your brain actually being able to realize what it really is.
Hmm.
Just being recognizing it, and it is psychedelic. Absolutely, it is.
Yeah, I know. I've heard Joe Rogan. He's got like so many stories about that. And you know who else does? Sam Harris. I'm like, yeah, Sam Harris has a whole book about this stuff. Uh,
Well, there's a new one with what's his name from the sucker farmer Hamilton. What's his name? Hamilton. That's
yeah, I
brand
don't
new.
know. I'm like terrified to try any of that stuff. I do not want to get hooked. That would just be
You're not gonna
a
get hooked.
nightmare.
Don't be stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people do get addicted to that kind of shit.
Well,
Um,
first, you can't get hooked to psychedelics. It doesn't work. If you took it
well,
every
I
day,
mean,
it doesn't
well,
work.
maybe I guess it depends on which one, right? Or no?
No, all
Or are
psychedelics
we talking about like
except for weed.
okay.
If you took LSD every day, it wouldn't work. After the third day, no.
So
Even if you take it 2 weekends in a row,
I
there's diminishing returns. It'll be half the next weekend, and then it'll barely work the next weekend.
really.
All these people that say they take LSD every day, and no, they're full of shit. It doesn't
So
work.
so is LSD not considered like a hard drug?
I'm saying it's not addictive.
Oh,
It's
okay.
impossible to get addicted to it.
Really? So
It
what?
doesn't work. You can take it, it just won't do anything. How can you get addicted to that? You don't get any reward response.
Huh. But
It
but
needs like 2 weeks to
well,
then
I mean,
rebuild the
I don't know. What's the difference between something that's habit forming and addictive? Like if you really
reward
enjoy something,
response.
okay.
Reward response. You need some sort of feedback.
Mm,
And if you take something and you get nothing, that's not habit forming, is it?
mm, I don't know.
And even coffee, so you get a reward response. So you take another coffee. That's why you drink coffee in the morning. You get a reward response. If you drank coffee one day and then the next day you drink it and it didn't do anything, the third day you wouldn't drink it because you didn't get anything from it the day before.
Mm. I don't know. There's just something about not being in control of my faculties that just I don't know.
Oh, it's scary.
Yeah, it kind of scares me.
Yeah. Oh, it'll make you a child again. But that's how it
How
works.
long does the effect last?
Do you want to hear a really bad story?
Go ahead. Sure.
Okay. Okay, my first best LSD experience. I ordered off the internet. This was before the dark web, and there was just emails. I found the email and I ordered 2 hits. And when you look at Blue Light and different forums that were around at the time, they say, "Oh, you got to do a full hit. You got to minimum. You got to have 2 or 3 or 4 minimum." And so it got triggered into my head. Okay, one's not going to look. They go to the walk. They go to those festivals, and they do that all the time. Full hit, yeah. They're walking around having fun. Yeah. So I took 1 in my bedroom. Basically, 30 minutes later, passed out, woke up in a vortex, complete darkness in a vortex.
Wow.
Absolute ego. Did not know where I was, did not know who I was, didn't know what a computer was, didn't know what a chair was, I didn't know what my hand was.
Were you sitting or standing?
I was in my bed, luckily.
Okay.
Yeah, I was laying in bed watching a movie. So, acid trip. It won't be that bad.
Were the lights
People
off?
people go to concerts like this.
Did you get hallucinated? Was it just the room was spinning, or what do you mean by a
No, it was
vortex? Like
complete darkness.
Okay.
No eyes wide open, no vision.
Holy
Vortex.
shit, that's scary, man.
All I can see is a vortex in front of me spinning.
What the fuck?
And the computer's on, so it must have been like the light from that, from the screen, but the pixels complete.
Does it happen like immediately, or does it gradually?
No, well, I kind of passed out because it was so strong, and it was the first time ever. I don't know. I've never had this experience ever again. I'm just saying, like, this is the best story because it hit so hard. It was ridiculous, and it's.
And
you can't reproduce it.
How do you feel in that moment? Is it like euphoric, or is it?
I felt like I died.
Like you died.
I felt like, wait a minute, did I order poison in the mail?
But wait, is it blissful or terrifying? Is it blissful or terrifying? Or
wait a minute, did poison turn up and I'm dead? Is that what happened? You can't trust the internet. It's like, that's why doses need to be measured and delivered from the fucking,
Hold on, but I'm trying to understand the actual feeling. Like, what was your feeling? Was it a sense of pleasure? Like, was it euphoric or was it terrifying?
No. It was terrifying.
Just pure terror.
Terror.
Oh wow. Well, that sucks. Why do people take that?
I thought I was dead or dying.
But is that a normal effect? Is that?
Well, if you buy stuff through the internet and you get it through the mail and you can't trust it, and your friends have tried to go, hey, this is good. You're supposed to do this.
So you got some tainted shit.
No, it was the best. That's what I got.
What? How is it the best? If it
that's what it's supposed to do. That's the transcendence.
It's supposed to give you a terrifying feeling?
Well, it's set in settings, see? I got the hardest experiences. It was like a DMT trip, but it was LSD. But because I was an amateur, I freaked out. Anyway, so as it starts to go, after about an hour or so, I'm starting to get a little bit of vision. So it was all blur, and that's why it was like... So it was all blur. And then about 2.5 hours in, I could finally see the computer screen, and I had an IRC friend in America who I talked through another game, and he was a seasoned veteran on LSD. And luckily, I couldn't see the keys. I couldn't type, but I knew how to type without seeing. So I was so lucky. And I started to talk to him. I said, man, I'm fucked up. I think I got this LSD, but I think I'm being poisoned. And he's like, oh, bitch, you just got the lucky batch. And I'm like, oh, okay, calm down. Start to enjoy it instead of freaking the fuck out. And he talked me through it over the next hour or so.
So for
And
1 or 2 hours, you were just
could
looking at a
not
dark void with
get
a
mind fucked
cyclone, right? A funnel right in front of you.
and reliving life experiences.
Oh wow!
Just
So like your
life
life was like flashing before
flashing,
your
yeah,
eyes.
in and out, and then whatever mood you thought of, it'd pop in, and then you'd live that bit, and then it'd come back, and then the vortex would be there, and then yeah, it'd just
Oh
it'd
wow!
pop back and forth.
Wow. So was
It
that the
was
last time you did that? Did it
no, that
or
was the first good time.
oh, and you kept doing it?
It's never been the same since. Yeah,
Wow. That's
that was 20 years ago, nearly.
oh.
So
And
or
is that
15.
your best experience?
That was the best story. Like, and even 8 hours later, I could barely. Everything was still fuzzy. I couldn't focus. Like everything was, and I don't wear glasses or anything.
Huh.
So it was. That's why, like, when people are like on forums and shit, and they go, "Oh, I'm so fucking LSD," and they're tight and perfect, and I'm like, bitch, you shouldn't even be able to see that font. That's not how it works. Because it affects every molecule in your. You don't under. And I must say, there's a lot of epiphanies that happen when that shit happens because you start thinking about math. You start thinking about, oh, wait a minute, every molecule you put into your body, oh, it affects your eyes as well. It affects everything. It's not till you get that feedback mechanism from something like that that really teaches you, oh, we really are quite fragile. It's just that our food doesn't hit those receptors.
Hmm.
Yeah, we take so much for granted. And it's microvolt. It fits on a bit of tiny little bit of cardboard. Tiny, tiny. And it will fuck your life up if you abuse it. It like
Yeah.
I everybody has to do it once, but holy and because it's scary and that grounds you. It
Well,
makes you
you know,
appreciate life.
I remember watching videos. It's similar to what you described, but I think they were called mollies. I remember there were all sorts of videos of people just like completely losing it. They're like stumbling all over the living room. They're like, they're all over the place. Have you seen? There's like tons of videos on it. I think there was mollies. Is that kind of the same experience?
That's ecstasy. It's
Oh,
totally
okay.
different.
Totally different. Okay.
Yeah, you can't get that with ecstasy. Ecstasy is more very uplifting. I've had about 200 of them. Jesus Christ.
Is that a better experience?
Yeah, it's better as in it's way more controllable. You're
Hmm.
always going to have a good time. You're not going to get mind fucked. You just go. It's a love drug. Look,
Such a
think about it.
boring square.
What's that?
I didn't know
What's
you're
that?
such a boring square.
Who?
Tell me an
Oh,
ecstasy story, Jimmy Chef.
What's that?
Tell me an ecstasy story.
I've
MDMA story. Go on.
I
Your
don't fuck with any of that shit.
bullshit. Never once.
Fuck with this shit.
Never once.
Just once actually.
Tell me it then.
I
Tell
don't
me
know.
the story.
Whatever. It was fine. I felt all fucked up the next day though.
Yeah. Oh fuck yeah. No.
Right.
The next day.
But yeah, I wouldn't really. I'm not into any of that shit.
Yeah. That's why I don't do it anymore.
I've tried like everything.
where do you find those? I mean, I've seen him on Joe Rogan talk about it, but those, I don't know, what do you call it? It's like a chamber, and you get inside, and it's like completely, and you're like
Float tank.
floating. What is it called?
Float tank.
Float tank. Yeah, you ever do that? Where do you? I don't even know where to find a float. Where would I even find a float tank?
There's a place in my neighborhood you pay them and they have a
Costs money.
But how does that work? Do you
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
take some sort of drug, or you just get in the
No.
chamber and that's it? You just get in there and
The salt content is the same like so much that you float, and then they just make it warm enough so you can't feel your skin floating. And if you're in darkness and you can't feel anything, your sensories start
Oh
to
wow,
go weird. If you can turn it
that
off.
sounds scary because I'm a
If
little
you
bit
can turn it off.
claustrophobic.
Nothing can
So
happen, but if you can turn it off and you can, it's like that
you
lucid
have
dream
you
that
done
I
that? Have
had.
you done
You,
this?
you, no, I haven't, but it's just like that. But if I could just be hugging the pillow, but if you can turn it off, then your brain thinks that you're hugging the dog, and therefore it allows the auditory and everything else to start.
Oh, so you can actually induce that type of experience in one of these tanks?
Yep. It'll start firing. Your brain will start triggering
That's weird
on its
because
own.
that's not how like Joe Rogan described it. He
It,
described
it
it as like a weird, trippy
But that's what
experience.
it is trippy. It's like
Well,
dreaming.
I don't consider lucid dreams to be trippy. I just consider them like dreams where you have full control.
Everyone's different. How do you put a thumb on it?
I don't know.
Maybe your experience in the tank will be different to someone else's
Well,
experience
I
in the
remember
tank as
Joe Rogan
well.
described it as like absolutely terrifying. Like it was just so weird. It's so so different. So like you really think like you're in another world. It's crazy. Like he says it's one of the craziest experiences of his life. So
It
I
does
don't
take
know.
it up, but,
I don't
but
know.
that's
I think I'm gonna
so.
make like a list of things that I want to experience in life before I die. And I think I might put that on my little
You
bucket
should.
list.
You definitely
It
have to
does
have
sound interesting, right? I know I put
mushrooms.
skydiving on my list.
You need to put psilocybin mushrooms on the list.
Mushrooms, is that what you said?
Psilocybin mushrooms.
I don't know. I think maybe I'll
You
put
need to
that
put
last in case I get addicted.
motorcycle riding.
In case I get addicted, or I don't know, some sort of habit. It'll be late in life, so it won't matter as much. Um,
Definitely motorcycle riding.
I don't know.
Getting on that.
Are you guys adventurous type people? I mean, aside from drugs.
I ride a motorcycle every day. Got
Hmm.
150 horsepower.
Wow.
Does a wheelie. Does 110 in first
Do
gear.
you weave
Fucking
through like
hell.
do you weave through traffic?
No,
That's nuts. Because man, I've
I
seen. Yeah.
no, I don't. But I came home from work this morning like a bat out of hell. Holy shit!
Why?
I was just on a charge.
Oh. Okay.
Felt fantastic. I gave it some stick, and the motor just loves it. I was going so fast; it was ridiculous.
Really?
Control. Oh man,
You don't do stunts though, do you? On
no,
it? Oh, okay.
I keep the wheels down.
You ever been in an accident on a motorcycle?
6 or 7.
Really?
Just
And you
just
still ride
occasion,
one. And you
just
still ride
occasion.
that. See, that's why I don't ride one. It's like why risk it? I
You learn.
I drive
You get
SUV.
better.
That's it.
Now look, when you you turn the key, start the engine. Whew, nothing like it.
Hmm.
It's like a Ferrari.
Yeah, does it I imagine that sucks when it's raining, right?
I ride every day. I don't have a car. It's
What's
better
it
in the
take?
rain.
What is it cold? But isn't it? Didn't you say like it's really cold down there? So that must suck at night.
No, no, no. We get what 15 degrees. It might go down to 4 degrees Celsius.
Where in
It
Australia do you
doesn't
live? Are you like Melbourne, Sydney, or
near Sydney.
oh, okay.
It doesn't get snow.
I wonder how many people watching this stream are expecting to because the title of the video is Kavanaugh hearing. I wonder how many people are clicking this podcast thinking that there's going to be talk about Kavanaugh.
I don't know. I got to piss so hard, but
Oh, go take a piss then, man. Don't.
okay. I'm gonna have a break. I'll be back in a sec.
Where the fuck is Late? Late said he was going to come. Jimmy's back. All right. So you were doing a little bit of a show and tell there before I saw you. I saw you like showed your set of knives. I saw like a
Yeah,
butcher
I'm
knife.
packing. I'm going out of town tomorrow, so I'm transferring all my stuff into bags and boxes. You know what I mean?
Are you moving or?
I'm a private chef and freelance caterer.
Oh, how's that work? Private chef, like for rich people?
Yeah.
No shit. So you
Yeah.
go to their house and you cook for them?
Uh-huh.
In,
Yeah.
no shit.
Yep.
Do they? Wow. Do you get to stay in their house for a while, or? Are you,
I have before. It's not a regular thing, but yeah, I've done it. I've stayed with people like out in the Hamptons before.
no shit. And is it always like the same customers pretty much, or is it like different ones all the time?
Different ones, and then also repeat clients, stuff like that. But yeah, I do
No
a little
shit.
bit of everything. I do all kinds of shit.
Wow. And it's always rich people, or is it like old people who can't cook for themselves and
No,
stuff
it's
sometimes?
it's rich people.
Rich people. Wow, that's fascinating.
Rich
Any cool stories of some of these rich people?
I mean, no, I mean nothing really crazy. They're all kind of boring actually, but their houses are nuts. They're
Yeah.
you're in like a $55 million house out in the Hamptons.
Holy shit.
Crazy, yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
You ever catch them doing it? You never. They're boring. They're all boring. You never catch them doing anything crazy. No, like hot naked chicks running around in pools.
No. But
Nothing
I
like that.
mean, yeah, there probably is that shit going on. I'm sure, but not in front of the help. You know.
Wow. So how far do you travel to these places? Are they all like nearby or?
I'm going 2 hours upstate tomorrow just to do a wedding. I'm
Okay.
doing the rehearsal dinner tomorrow night and then the wedding on Saturday.
Uh-huh.
But usually they're all within the city.
Wow. That's cool. Do you have a good reputation for being a great chef?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a good restaurant.
Are you? Oh, okay. How do they find you?
I work for a company that kind of
Oh, I
contracts
see.
you on
Oh, I see. I see.
certain things. Yeah.
Huh. So, okay. So I know that there's like rich people that are super spoiled. What if they want somebody to like cook something for them at like 4 in the morning? Do you have to like drive out there and like cook
No,
a meal?
Uh, I don't do any shit like that.
Oh, okay.
Everything I do is like contracted beforehand. Like,
Oh, I see. So
yeah,
is it mainly like for functions, basically?
I do a lot of corporate functions and stuff like that. Yeah.
Do you just cook whatever, or do they tell you what to cook?
A little bit of both. I mean,
Hmm.
some of them just are kind of just cook us something. Some of them are really in particular, but
Have they ever asked you to
that all
cook
gets worked
something?
out before the event. You know what I mean?
Have they ever asked, what's the most exotic thing they've ever asked you to cook for them?
I don't know.
Monkey brains or
Yeah,
something?
no, nothing. I don't do any shit like that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's all truffles and foie gras a lot.
It's all fancy
How does
shit.
that work? Is it, do they tip you or
Yeah, yeah,
really? Oh, wow.
yeah. It pays well.
Pretty cool.
I came
How's
up
the
in
bar work go, man?
restaurants and whatever. And this is a good like progression from that, I guess, career wise.
I want to hear about some of your bar work. I bet you got some good stories.
What was that?
Jimmy's bar work.
Or what?
I bet you got some good stories from your bar work.
Oh, bar work, I think he said.
Yeah, behind the bar. Yeah.
I didn't
Oh
even
yeah,
know. I didn't even know you were a bartender. You were a bartender too?
no, I was helping a friend out at his bar for a little while, yeah, but not anymore.
Bet you got
Yeah,
some
that
good
was terrible.
stories, but
Late nights, and I used to come on. I would come on the channel a lot when I was working there and complain about it. Yeah, terrible job. Never again.
Mm.
Tell me a good story.
I mean, as a bartender, there's got to be good stories as a bartender. I assume there's good stories for every bartender. There's so much crazy shit that happens in bars.
All the drunk people, it has to be.
Fights. I guess.
Yeah, we never had any, never fights, but yeah, lots of drunks, lots of rude people. They all sort of just blend into one too, especially when there's multiple ones in the same night. Yeah, terrible.
I guess when it's your job, it's different.
I hang out at bars though. I hear there's all kinds of crazy shit.
What kind of bars?
I hang out at a craft beer bar for the most part.
Hipster bar.
Mm.
How much are their drinks?
What was that?
How much are their drinks? Bit over the average price?
I don't know anything about bars, or I don't frequent
bars. I'm talking to Jimmy, man.
Mac, you're not a lot of fun, man.
Well, I mean, do you have a topic you want to discuss?
You're very boring, Jimmy.
Yeah, I don't have a particularly exciting life, that's for sure. It's kind of like I'm not like Cowboy, like Donald Cerrone. I bet you Donald Cerrone has like tons of stories. Did you guys hear his story, by the way, on where he got stuck in the cave? Yeah. That was an amazing story. Did you hear about that, Jimmy?
Yeah, I saw that.
That was a fascinating story. He almost died.
Yeah.
It's amazing that he's doing that shit before fights. That's nuts. Why does he risk that? I don't get it. I think eventually all that kind of risk taking is gonna catch up to him one day. I mean, he says he's almost died like 6 times doing that adventurous shit.
Well, didn't he roll his ATV one time as well?
He rolled over his ATV once?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Wasn't even he had on loan or some shit. He was in his farm just having fun, fanging it, and he rolled it. You could die doing that.
Some of the boat shit that he does is pretty crazy too.
Oh yeah, I've seen the videos of that. I've seen him doing those weird acrobatics in the ocean, and I don't even know what you call that thing. That thing that shoots you up into the air and you're like kind of floating on the water. What's that thing? It's like a big hose of water, and it just kind of like propels you.
It's like a water jet thing.
Yeah, I don't even know what you call it, but yeah, I've seen him do weird acrobatics on that. That's just so nuts that he's doing that before a fight.
It's not that bad. You're gonna lay in water. It looks worse than it is. I think that's sort of.
So speaking of Cerrone, what do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about this upcoming fight between Khabib and Conor? What do you think's gonna win? Who are you rooting for?
Conor.
Oh, me too, man.
Khabib.
Big time. Khabib, why? You don't like Conor's antics? You hate him?
Chum.
But man, that's what makes the UFC exciting. It's interesting. That's what makes it interesting.
Look, Nick Diaz makes it exciting. Conor does not. He makes it pleb. Makes us look like we're houseos.
All right. Well, let me ask you this: are you going to tune in to watch the fight?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. You see. But if he had been boring, a run-of-the-mill fighter, you probably wouldn't have been as excited to watch it. Because you want to watch it because you want to see him get his ass kicked. Am I right?
I watch them all anyway.
I don't know. I like his antics. I agree.
I can't handle his shit talk.
Because I don't know. To me, he makes it interesting. I I don't know. I think if he loses, if he gets annihilated, the hype it's over, man.
They said that last time when Nate beat him. Oh, the
Well, that's
hype
because
train's over,
it was
blah, blah,
somewhat
blah.
well, that's because it was somewhat competitive until he lost, right? But I'm
But it
talking
was
about
still
if it's a
wasn't. It wasn't at that
blowout.
weight. It wasn't. He was short notice. You know, how many excuses can we come up with? You know,
I don't
I
know,
don't
man.
know. He was drinking. Nate was drinking margaritas 3 weeks out, 4 weeks out. You know, it
Yeah,
wasn't a
that's
full
true. But
camp.
again,
And then he
he
says
is
he beats Mendez. Mendez raped him until he
true,
ran out of puff
true,
because
but he
he
wasn't
didn't
training.
have a fight camp, and it was late again. All these good people that he's beaten, they
No,
never.
but wait, that's a legitimate excuse for Connor as well, like, right? Because it was late notice and he wasn't training for a wrestler.
No one's ever
So
called Connor up late.
I don't
It's
know.
always been on his terms.
Well, I mean,
But he's on the back foot. It's him that.
I don't know. I don't really see it that way. I think Connor's the kind of guy who'll fight pretty much anybody. Um,
I don't think so.
and he did end up winning the fight
He'd be
anyway.
fighting
I
Nick,
mean,
not
he did end. I mean, he could have easily lost that fight if Chad Mendes had fought more intelligently, but
no, he had no stamina because it was 3 weeks. You know, it was the
yeah,
last
I
fight.
don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's the reason that people continue to underestimate Connor because they saw,
Underestimate.
yeah, underestimate. I mean,
How
you know,
many fights does he
all right,
have?
let me ask you this. You did not expect him to defeat Eddie Alvarez, especially not the way he did. You know that you were shocked when you saw the way he handled
Do
Eddie
you
Alvarez.
know how bad Eddie lost so many times he went to Bellator? How can you judge that?
He only lost
He
to
lost it.
Chandler, really. I mean, to the top.
How did he end up in Bellator before Chandler?
I don't know. He didn't really lose. I mean, he always lost to like top fighters. He didn't. He's no slouch. Are you suggesting that Eddie Alvarez is kind of
I'm
like
saying
a
it's not as a high fight win as you think it is. That's all.
oh, come on
Like
now.
you're putting
That
it
that
right up the top.
all right. Who do you put above Eddie? Rafael dos Anjos, Khabib, who else? Well, actually, not even Raf. Who won
Well,
the?
it's all upside down now because USADA. I mean, DeSantos was the man at one stage. He was unbeatable until USADA, and now no, he can't win a fight to fucking save his life.
Hmm.
It was like that with what's his name? Who's gone to Bellator? Really tall, lanky, the Jesus guy. What's his name? Dark hair to hair, ponytail,
What weight class are we talking about?
like middleweight, like.
Not sure who you're referring to. But wait
He's
a minute.
got
You're
the
telling me that
cross.
you're not you're
He's like a Filipino or something.
uh
Bendo, yeah, Bendo. He was unbeatable for years. Unbeatable.
wait.
And then everybody destroys him. He goes to.
Wait a minute. You said Bendo's not a middleweight. You're talking about Ben Henderson?
Yeah, I'm talking about Bendo Henderson. Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay.
that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay, you
Brock.
threw me there because I was thinking of the middleweight, and yeah, he normally fights at lightweight. But so
No,
wait, are you? So
same
okay,
as
you're saying.
Santos.
So you're saying okay. So Eddie Alvarez did lose, but have you ever seen someone handle Eddie the way that Connor did? I mean,
I've never seen
that was
anyone
really
lose
impressive.
like Eddie Alvarez loses. Is what I'm
I mean, he
saying.
was ragdolled.
He
I mean,
loses to
it was.
everybody, but how many he's lost his like last 4 or 5 in a row, like, or maybe he's won one. Come on.
I don't know. I think his record's pretty good. I mean, he was. I don't know. He was. He's legit, man. I can't believe.
He's not
I can't believe
legit.
I have to. I
He's
can't believe I
not.
have to
Look
defend
at
Eddie
the
here.
MMA channel. They're all agreeing. Alvarez is
Wait, let me look
he's
at the
past
IC chat. They're
he's past
agreeing
his
that
prime.
Alvarez sucks. No, they're
Yeah.
not. All right, hold on.
It's the same as Pettis. Pettis has
Well,
gone
no, Pettis
down
for
so
sure
hard.
is overrated at this point. That's amazing. That dude was on the fucking Wheaties box. He was on the,
Dude,
you know, he was on
Hendo,
the top of the mountain, and
Benson
then he just.
Henderson was unbeatable for years. He was nearly a GSP. Nobody could get close to him. And then he just got raped, and then that Russian absolutely tore him a new asshole in Bellator. Wow, he's got the hardest head in the game. Oof.
I don't know. I've always been impressed with Eddie. I enjoy his fights. At least you do enjoy his fights, at least, right? I mean, he's a scrapper.
I know.
He loves to
I'm a
scrap.
fan, but I cannot say that Connor's beat against him is like a stroke on his belt. No, that's not a top 10 guy.
Not a top 10 guy? What? You can name 10 lightweights above Eddie Alvarez? Okay, go
They're
ahead.
probably not even known.
Oh,
I'll have to look up the list.
That's.
I don't know. I don't want to look at this. I don't want to disappoint him, man. I don't want to shame him.
I don't know. I think you're being unfair with Eddie, but
I think you're being over generous with Connor. Okay.
Another person
who's really good. Who's he beat?
Well, no, honestly,
Mendes.
The thing is, I agree with you in the sense that I do think that Connor is still kind of an unknown. It's kind of unclear. I think. Well,
everybody knows him.
No. Hold on. I'm just saying, hypothetically, if he ends up handling Khabib, and he proves that he can take out a wrestler like that, you can no longer underestimate Connor, right? Yeah, it might not happen. It probably won't. I'm just saying that if it does, though, you can no longer he's no longer an unknown. Like at that point, he's legit. He's proven to be.
Not really, because who has Khabib even beat?
Oh, no way. You're kidding me. You're kidding me. You don't think Khabib is a top fighter either?
How long ago did he fight again? 2 years.
Yeah, but dude, he's undefeated, and he hasn't lost a round in the UFC. He lost, I think,
every month, and 2 years is a long time in the fight game.
There
might be some new stud who's ready to fucking jack those dudes. But you can't see it because these guys are holding up these guys are like the baby boomers who won't quit. They're holding up the job, so the new guys, they can't get a shot because of these cunts.
Dude.
You don't know.
So I'm curious now. Who do you think is a good top lightweight? Somebody that would be like that. If Connor defeated this guy, then he would finally have proven himself to you.
I don't watch it that.
Yeah, you see. So
strictly.
Then
I like my old school dude.
Then I think
I know Nick Diaz would beat Connor any day, any day.
So what happened in the second fight?
No, that was Nate, not Nick.
Oh, wait. Okay,
it was supposed to be Nick.
So you're saying if Connor were to defeat Nick Diaz
in 170
at 170, then but that's not fair because
not
that's not that
170.
He's
not that weight. No, it doesn't work that way. If you fight at the weight you are that weight, that's it.
Wait, but hold on. But Connor's not a natural 170. He's a natural
155.
155 is a natural weight.
That's the rule. Don't fight at that weight then. Don't fight for that.
Nick Diaz's natural weight, I think, would probably be middleweight. If he weren't cutting weight, it'd probably be middleweight, wouldn't it?
No. Anyway.
If Connor didn't cut weight, he'd be at like around that 170 mark. And if Nick Diaz didn't cut weight, he'd be around that 185 mark.
To 145.
It's been a while.
And 155. So
are you sure you don't have this opinion simply because you hate Connor? Are you sure it's not maybe a little bit of bias there?
And maybe it's a bias of other people that like him.
No, I don't think so. I think I'm being. I don't
think he's. I mean, the Sean Shirk has been an outstanding
All right, so where
Yeah,
would you rank
first
Connor right now? 1 to 10. Where would you rank him?
on the all time, not
No,
even
no,
in
no,
top
no,
10.
no. Currently, lightweight.
I'd have to link me the list then. I need something to work off.
But well, I mean,
Okay.
just give me a ballpark. Like, where would you put him? Like in the top
I
5, top
don't
3?
know. You'd have to give me top 5 for that weight class.
Top
Which
5?
weight class? Not 170.
No, lightweight.
155.
Yeah, right.
Oh man, that class is so deep. It's so deep.
Because I'm curious if
Anybody in the top
if
10 could beat
all right,
him.
if he were to beat Khabib,
Anybody.
okay, let's say you put him at number 5. If he were to beat Khabib, where would
I
you put
don't
him?
think it changes anything.
Nothing changes.
Still,
So the
anybody in the top
only
10,
way, so the
anyone in the top 10 could still beat him.
so
All
the
those other dudes,
the only way you'll give him credit is if he's able to mop the floor with everybody.
you got to fight twice a year. You can't not fight for 2 years and then come back and think you're a hero.
You
And
guys see this
before
Instagram
that, he
John
did
Jones?
the in between fight and the Mayweather fight. He hasn't fought in fucking 4 years or something. Nah,
What
man.
did you say something, Jimmy?
Yeah, Jimmy, what'd you say?
Look at the Instagram post from John Jones that he just put up like an hour ago. It's hilarious.
Can you link me in the channel? Post it in MMA-TV or something. I don't have the.
I think that if Connor defeats Khabib by some miracle, and it's not some fluke, flash knockdown or some shit where Herb Dean jumps in and stops it prematurely. If it's not some thing where he catches him like he did with Jose Aldo, then I would definitely put Connor as number 1. I mean, without a doubt, he's
If you
number
were a
1 lightweight.
marketer, then that sounds a fantastic idea. Because marketing that fight is all about making sure that you're number one.
And if he defeats Khabib, then I think the next fight to make that makes sense would be Connor versus GSP. Because at that point, he's proven that he can actually handle a top wrestler. So right now, that seems like a really unfair matchup, Connor versus GSP. But if he can handle someone like Khabib convincingly, then yeah, that's the fight to make, man. That's the fight to make. I really hope that it just ends decisively. I don't want it to end like the Jose Aldo fight. I mean, that just sucked in so many ways. Because you can't tell anything by that. You can't tell like who's the better fighter out of that. It was a freak thing.
And also, when it comes involved with punching, some of the really early ones are you can get flash knocked out really early, really easily. It happens heaps in boxing. Like first punch.
I want
they go down.
I want the fight to be kind of like Brock versus Kane. That was decisive, man.
Okay, let's talk about Brock.
Because Brock got the opportunity to try everything, man. He tried everything.
Brock
and
DC
was shut down. Everything he tried, he got shut down. And that's what I loved about that fight. I mean, everybody left that fight knowing who the better fighter was. There was no question. So when fights end the way like the Conor versus Jose Aldo fight ended, like everybody leaves unsatisfied. So hope it doesn't end like that. Hope it doesn't end like that. Yeah.
Change of fighters.
You really hate Conor, don't you?
Uh-huh.
Have you always hated him, or is this like or was it after the bus fiasco?
No, he's just a bum. Oh yeah, I have always hated him. Yes.
See, that's weird that you
call him a Halzo here. I hate Halzos. I don't understand.
You don't like brash fucking fighters, right? So
you realize that he didn't have a job. He refused to work.
You mean before he was a fighter?
He lived off government subsidized.
Well, I heard he's pretty diligent.
So if he's that driven,
he's pretty hardcore when it comes to training, though.
If he's that driven, Why couldn't he make a business? Why couldn't he have
Well, no,
done
I mean,
something?
well, people are driven, for different things, right?
Bullshit.
So,
What, now he's driven with money?
well,
Bullshit. No, it's all fake bullshit. I don't believe
dude,
a slur.
dude, if
I've
it was
seen
just
I've
about the
seen
money,
people in the situation, and
dude, if it was
it
just about
turns
the
me off.
money, if it was just, well, that's fine. I mean, that's you're entitled to that opinion. I'm just,
I know he's backstabbing, he's lying. I can see all the way through it. It's just, oh, it just irks me so hard. You can't pull that sheet over my eyes.
but see, that's what's
I can
weird.
see straight through it.
But then you like Nate. That's what's weird to me because Nate
But
is a dick
10 years
too.
before it. No, but he's real. He hasn't changed. He wasn't on welfare.
You think Connor?
He
That's
stole all his tricks.
Connor stole all his tricks. Connor's pretty unique, I would say.
He's doing exactly what the Diaz brothers do.
No, man, come on. It's
man.
very, very different. Very,
Really?
very different. If it was the same, then the Diaz brothers would be just as famous and just as rich and just as he is.
They don't have all the houses
They're
back
just
them.
thugs, man. The Diaz brothers are just thugs, but Connor's different.
Don't
Connor's a
think Connor's a thug?
narcissist. What?
Connor's the biggest thug ever. He takes his pack of wolves.
Not
gets on a
that
plane,
kind.
goes
He's not
over
like a
and
cholo
throws a
kind
trolley. What a thug!
of. I don't know.
Oh, man,
He's a different kind of thug. I agree that he is a thug, but it's a different kind of thug.
He's gonna get stabbed. Someone's gonna hate him.
No, you know who's gonna get stabbed? You know who's gonna get stabbed before Connor? Colby Covington. That motherfucker is asking to get killed. Oh my god, the shit that he says.
I don't follow it enough.
You haven't heard him?
I don't follow it enough. Tell me what he's done.
Do you know who he is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, he says to Brazilian people, he calls them says that their country's a shithole, and I want to get out of this shithole. What else does he say?
Dude's a stud, but fucking hell. Yeah, but
he's really asking for it because he literally tries to push people's buttons. He does it on purpose. He's a troll, like a real life troll.
And you don't think Connor's a troll?
No, I no, because see the one that's the wannabe is Colby because he's trying to be like Connor. Connor's unique, but it comes off with him. It comes off more natural. It doesn't seem like he's hamming it up for the cameras. It doesn't seem like it's a script. Whereas with Colby, everything seems orchestrated. Everything seems pre-planned. Connor just I don't know. That's just his personality. He's just quick-witted and.
How do you know his personality?
Because he's consistent with it. He's like it. He's like that in interviews. He's like that. Although they do say that behind.
Fucking.
I don't know.
He's so
he's
predictable.
able to turn it
That's
on.
why people can rip him off so easy.
Huh?
People can imitate him so easy because he's so predictable.
No. Okay, so you predicted everything he was going to say in that last press conference.
I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch it? Oh man,
I can't stand it.
That was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy.
I haven't watched it for years.
It would have been so much better if they allowed fans in the crowd because it was just reporters in the crowd.
And
so it was weird. So every time he would say
questions.
something funny, it was just like dead silent, right? But if that was a crowd there, oh man, he would have been feeding off the crowd. It would have just been epic. But I think the second press conference is going to be with the fans. So that should be.
Do you reckon he's got a mic in his ear?
A what?
Mic in his ear.
A mic in his ear. You think someone's coaching him? No, dude. No. No way. He's too quick. It's like instantaneous. His quips are.
I reckon he practices this shit backstage.
Oh, good grief!
Like he practices his left hook.
No, I think that's your cynicism. It's your hate for Connor.
Now, just like a left hook.
You're gonna be furious if he wins next week. You're gonna be
I don't
You're
care. It
gonna be
doesn't
so
validate him
pissed.
anyway. It doesn't validate him anyway. He's the loser. He just signed a 6-fight deal with the UFC. He's owned.
Well, I mean, look, that means he's
They
driven
now
because
own
look,
his life.
he is filthy rich. He doesn't have to fight anymore.
Well, he didn't if he didn't fight. He didn't sign that 6-fight win deal. Like
But I mean, that's just bonus money. It doesn't.
he could have gone to Ryzen and gotten who knows.
Yeah.
But no. What makes people fight? Like, okay, what was his name?
What will it take for him to win you over? I'm just curious. Like,
Nothing.
is he just not an asshole anymore? Like,
Nothing. He's a houser.
He was respectful in the last press conference towards
Once a houser, always a houser.
Poirier and Nate. He was extremely respectful. So he's not an asshole to everybody.
Next person.
Who else is fighting on that card? I need to see. We need to, because we're going to do a podcast. We're going to do another one of these podcasts that's specifically about that UFC event. I know Malk wants to do it. But I don't even know who's on the card, but.
Okay, I've got it open here. Tony Ferguson is doing Anthony Pettis.
Okay, what's your opinion of Tony Ferguson? Where do you rank him?
I love that dude. Legit. Humble. Great fighter.
Humble? You think Tony Ferguson is humble? You sure about that?
Charismatic.
Yes, he's charismatic. Although what's funny is that charisma kind of fucked his last fight with Khabib, because he was walking inside with sunglasses on and he tripped over a fucking TV cable and destroyed his knee as a result. So
is that what really happened, or is that
yeah, that's what he said. He's wearing sunglasses. I mean, I don't know if it's because
he probably didn't make weight.
Yeah, I don't know.
We don't know.
That
sounds like a very
that fight is like jinxed. It's been
How
scheduled
can you
so
not
many
see
times, and
he's with sunglasses on? Is he fucking blind?
he's trying to be cool.
I know, but you can still see.
All right, hold on. Here we go.
Derek Lewis and Alexander Volkov. OSP and Dominic Reyes.
These fights don't really.
I'm not a great fan of OSP.
What about Bellator this weekend?
Oh, I don't even follow Bellator.
Michelle
I can't even
Watson
remember
and
the last
Felice
time.
Herring. Boom! That's the fight of the night.
Who's fighting in Bellator this weekekend?
Everybody.
Oh, really? So it's one of those mega events. Oh, awesome!
Good guy Masaki and Roy McDonald, Jackson and Wendy.
Vanderlei Silva is fighting. What the fuck?
He better be jacked. He better be PED'd up. Pig hot on that. Jimmy?
I got Rampage.
I can't choose.
Vanderlei.
No. Well, man, it's hard to choose because they both suck at this point. And Rampage, I don't even think he trains, to be honest. He just seems so lazy. I think he's definitely in it just for the paycheck. I saw training footage of him just a few days ago, and where he was just hitting mitts, and he was just so lazy about it. It was just like no effort at all.
He's holding back, man. He doesn't want to show.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think he's just lazy as fuck. He's just in it for a paycheck.
He's been fighting for 30 years. He knows how to fight.
I think he's headed down that Bob Sapp path.
One of the first MMA that I've ever seen
Bob Sapp's
was
fighting Saturday.
Yeah, Bob Sapp's on there.
Really?
Yeah.
He's on Risen. He's on Risen.
Oh, that's a joke. This guy.
Risen 13.
How does anybody hire that guy? Throws fights. He literally throws fights. Why would anybody hire that guy? He's insane. Good. He's good. What?
Kintaro versus Bob Sapp. How much money do you get?
Tyron Woodley, but he's all right.
But who's on that risen butt is that Kenshi fucking kickboxing kid who is amazing. He's like 18 years old, wrecks
Saturday's gonna
everybody.
be good. Bellator into Ryzen.
Yeah. Few bitch fights. Did I mention Michelle Watterson and Felice Herring?
Oh God.
Wow.
Who gives a shit?
That is going to
Oh
be
my
the best
God.
ass watching.
I honestly could not care less about
Or
almost
whatever.
any
Are
of
you
these female
gay?
fighters. Wait, you think they're
Massive.
hot? Like either of them?
Are you
Like,
fucking serious?
you think the karate hottie is actually a hottie?
I've been watching since Fight Girls, man.
No, man.
Before
No.
she got married.
I mean, that she might be hot for like a fighter, but
Look, you guys think Ariane and all that aren't even hot. It's like, come on.
she used to be until all the plastic
Used
surgery.
to
Just
be.
like the travesty that
kick her
happened
out
to
of bed.
Brittany Palmer. That's
She's
like
great.
sacrilege. That is sacrilege. What she did to herself. She used to be when she was back in WEC. I mean, absolute bombshell, perfect. And she burned off all her curves. She butchered her face. Her facial structure is like different now. I mean, like everything changed. She went from like a 10 down to like a 6. I mean, I don't know. Horrible, tragic story. Oh, Musasi versus Rory. Who do you think's gonna win that fight?
Rory.
Really? He's a heavy underdog. Musasi's almost a 3-1 favorite.
You know what came up in my YouTube feed last night?
What?
Musasi versus fucking Mark Hunt in Dream 7.
I don't even. I mean, I probably saw that fight, but I forgot who won. Musasi, I'm guessing.
I don't remember. I didn't watch it. I didn't click it, but I had seen it in the past. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Musasi won.
I guess Musasi won.
Probably.
Mark Hunt was shit back then. Like
Mark Hunt. I'm sorry,
he
but
got submitted like in an armbar from like nowhere every time.
Mark Hunt is one of the most overrated fighters I've ever seen. But I think a lot of people like some of these fighters for nostalgic reasons, because the old pride never die, right? It's one of those things, but
we grew up watching
really
it.
Not much more than that, because he's really not a great fighter. He's a big puncher. That's it. He's a fat blob. He's got like, and he hasn't evolved as a fighter at all. Like at all. He's the same fighter he's always
been.
Zero
ground game. Oh my god.
Everybody else has passed him by. Yeah. Well, what do you got? What's that?
What's cool about it is like when you see things like Mark Hunt versus Uberim at like 205 in Pride, and then you see his evolution of how fucking massive that cunt got. You see pictures of Uberim versus Brock Lesnar.
Oh, yeah.
And the weigh-ins.
Yeah.
And he's just jacked.
Yes, he is. He was.
It's just amazing.
And he has the nerve.
That is the same person.
And he has the nerve to claim that he's never done steroids. He's been clean his whole life. I mean, come on.
Horse meat, man.
Who? But yeah, it's the horse meat. Exactly.
It's good for you.
Yeah.
Horse meat.
Yeah, exactly. Who buys that shit? I mean, it's just crazy. Do you think Brock is clean? He's never tested positive either.
Yeah. I think he was on steroids in college.
Are you sure? Because I've seen pictures of him when he was big, even when he was
in college. Yes. Do you know what they do in American colleges?
I think he's just a big guy. I don't know, man. No. No, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right.
How much money you can make from NFL if you're in college at 16 and you're jacked?
Maybe you're right. I don't know. But I mean, he gets tested like crazy. He gets tested. I don't know.
Now, look. Now it's 20 years later. What happens is if you take something right, and you're tested within the now, like right now, if you were already okay, which scenario do you want to know? Do you want to know the one that's in college that's going to build up, or do you want to know the one that's already jacked that wants to pass the PED test?
Uh,
If you're already jacked, it takes very little to stay jacked. You
well, I
don't
mean,
even have
he
to.
he tested. Okay, you're a drug expert, so he tested positive for an anti-estrogen, and that's what people take to mask the
It's
effects
to,
of.
to bring your testosterone back up
Oh,
after a
okay.
cycle.
Okay. All right. Well then, yeah.
Same
Yeah.
as John Jones.
All
And
right.
remember
Oh,
those
that's a good
tests.
topic. I'm very curious. What is your
Yeah,
opinion of that ruling? Like what how they handle John Jones?
he's
uh,
got special. He's
like
got
what
pockets
is
too.
that? Do you think he ratted somebody out? Because that to me that's the only thing that makes sense. Because he didn't find a tainted supplement. He had no explanation for how that got in his system, and
Uh,
that was his second, and it was his first steroid. So to me, the only thing that makes
no,
sense to
but
me
it's his second
is
pop. But
right. That's what I'm saying. But they went so easy on him.
it sounds like to me that his $1 million.
No, that would be
What,
UFC's
what, no, no, his
incentive. But
$1 million. What's it called? Like representative found a loophole, and they worked money.
I don't know, man.
It sounds. It sounds like. It
I don't
sounds
think
like when
USADA.
no, anyone can get bought. It sounds like when a rich person who does a crime never goes to jail because their lawyer is so expensive. They find something,
I don't know. I mean,
and
if
they
there were
found that little
that
loophole. That little loophole that says, "Oh, if we give some sort of information, then
that kind of corruption would make more sense to me if it was for someone like Connor. Like if Connor popped, because then it would, it would be worthwhile. But for John Jones, I mean, does John Jones really sell that many pay-per-views? I mean, I know, relatively speaking, he sells a lot.
WME need every pay-per-view they can get right now."
Yeah, but
So John Jones,
I don't think USADA is
and
going to
you got
destroy
to
the
remember,
reputation.
any publicity is good publicity. So
But
all this bad publicity is actually good publicity. Everyone's talking about John Jones and blah blah blah. That's selling more tickets.
yeah, but remember, like USADA doesn't just handle the UFC. It's all many sports that they do drug testing for. So for
I've
them
never
to
seen a
ruin,
court case on
for
any
them
other
to
sports though.
destroy their reputation potentially over something like, I mean, they would be ruined. They would be destroyed if they were caught in a scandal like that.
From what I read, it wasn't actually USADA that made the ruling. It was a
No,
third.
that's true. That's true. But
So
before,
they brought in a clause case which made it someone else's responsibility to
yes,
pick.
yes, but
So the lawyer made it so that they flagged a cause that took it out of USADA, which means he got paid $1 million to
no, no, no,
find
no,
that
no, no, no.
clause.
Because what happened was before it even went to the arbitrator, they had already decided that the maximum they were going to give him was 16 months. And then the arbitrator lowered it to like 15 months. So, but
And
16
such a
months,
strange.
even USADA lowering it to 16 months seems like, why would they do that?
And
So
how much did Nick get for
the
weed
only,
again?
yeah, it's crazy. But
Like apples and
yeah, but
oranges?
that's why I suspect that maybe he ratted somebody out. Because I think they it's in their rules that they do reward that.
He rat himself out for hiding under the cage for how many hours while he left?
No, he
Like,
ratted
come
somebody
on.
else out. I don't know what happened, man. All I know is that it smells.
He's probably on more than all of them. Did you see how jacked he got when he was doing that time off and he's powerlifting? Dude,
He's still got chicken legs though, doesn't he?
strong chicken legs. But that's why you got to cut them down. They got to start kicking those legs, man. He will have nothing. You kick those calves a few times. Boom. See you later. I was hoping Saki would win another couple fights. Can't believe he lost already. Go Ken Saki.
Where does he fight?
He was the K1 dude that came over. Kickboxing specialist. Does 7-punch
Right.
combos. But he lost. He got KO'd. God damn it.
Look,
Do you want me to send you a link to Go Ken Saki?
I don't know. I know a lot of people love that K1 stuff, but I don't know. It just never. It's
You'd love this stuff.
It's too one-dimensional for me. I don't know.
He's all hands. Ridiculous.
There were a few fighters that I really liked in K1, but I mean that's old school. Did they still have K1?
No.
It's gone?
Glory now. It's Glory now.
Oh, okay. I heard
found
that.
the fight.
What?
I found the fight.
I'm trying to find out who John Jones is supposed to fight somebody. I think they're trying to schedule him to fight in December. I don't know if it's Gustafsson or some other dude.
Oh, they want him to fight
I know DC doesn't want to fight him.
Gustafsson again.
DC doesn't want to fight him. I honestly think that DC's a little bit scared. Because that would fuck with that man. Can you imagine accomplishing everything that DC's accomplished, right? He's a 2-division champion. He's top of the world right now. And he can literally go out with a win against Brock, and that would be an amazing career. But now, if he loses to John Jones, God, that fucks everything. That throws a whole wrench in his legacy. Because right now he can chalk up those losses to cheating, but this next time around, I don't think he's going to have that excuse. So that would mess with him. So it doesn't surprise me that he doesn't want to fight him.
Mac, I just PM'd you from the spot. Watch for 20 seconds.
What is this now? Let's see.
This is Saki in Glory in 6. He does like a 16-punch combo.
Oh shit! These guys swing. Oh shit!
He was my favorite fighter.
That's nice.
Yeah, he finally made it this year to UFC. He won his first.
This is a recent fight.
No, that's old.
Oh, okay. How old? Oh, dude, that guy would be fucking awesome in the UFC.
He made it to UFC and he got knocked out, but he's in. He's
really?
light heavyweight. He's 205. He'll keep fighting.
Oh, sweet. When did he get signed?
A year ago. He's had 2 fights. He knocked out the first dude, and then he got knocked out.
And does he fight just like that in the UFC?
Yeah, he swings.
He's a brawler. He just swings.
Plays back and yeah.
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah. He's got good hands, man.
I'm surprised he lost by knockout. Who knocked him out? Somebody famous?
Schultz, 7-foot dude.
Hmm.
Oh no, in K1. Schultz,
what weight class? No, I mean, who did he lose to in the UFC?
Some new dude. Oh, I don't know. It was 205. It was only like 2 months ago or something. I forget who he lost to. It was some bum. I don't know. He wasn't someone good, but he got caught. It's fighting. He laid it out.
Cool.
But yeah, expect fireworks.
From this guy?
I thought he'd fight John Jones. Legit.
Nah, I don't see anybody. I don't really see very many people beating John Jones. Maybe
he's like a little firecracker.
Well, it's more like he's got tree trunk, legs, and arms.
He's like a Tyson, you know. So we need a Tyson in MMA.
He's got that huge reach advantage, and of course he's very athletic and strong. I don't know. I don't see anybody.
Chop his legs down. I don't know why no one does. I know it sounds easier than it is.
Yeah, probably. And he keeps his distance well, so.
Yeah, he's always jumping around. You got to chase him.
Who do you like between Tito and Chuck Liddell?
I like Tito.
I mean, do you think he's going to win, or you're rooting for Tito to win?
Both. I've read some books and stuff, and Tito is like the man. He used to, back in the day, he was a promoter. You know, he was just like Dana White, and I don't know. Back in the day, you had to promote your own fight. So before, you would invite people to come to the stadium because you were fighting on the card, and you would sell tickets yourself. And what he would do, a bit like Randy and a bit like other people, they would put flyers on the seats. They would go and do it themselves. They were promoters. They were doing their own. They did everything. I like that hustle.
I don't know who to root for, to be honest. Like, I'm leaning towards Chuck, and that's because, like, first of all, he's a huge underdog. He hasn't fought in ages, and I think it'd just be cool for him. You know, Tito's actually been active, and I usually, in these situations, I tend to root for the underdog.
Right hand can finish it.
But Tito is just so brash. He's just so arrogant, and he just thinks he's like such a badass. Even well, no, but it's different. But the difference is that Connor backs it up. Yeah, but the difference.
Shit, that's weird.
The difference is that Connor backs it up, whereas Tito is a total scrub.
You fucking serious? Tito is a
bum.
Have you seen Tito fight? Back in the day.
Yeah, well, back in the day. Come on now. You mean when no one knew how to fight?
MMA if it wasn't Tito.
Well, yeah, back in the day he was good, relatively speaking, but
you wouldn't be watching Connor if it wasn't Tito.
He's like Frankenstein. He has no mobility, like no lateral movement. He
has six back.
Well, whatever the reason. I mean, he's just not a great fightor. He's a legend, but he's not a great fighter. And it bugs me. You want to know who else drives me fucking crazy? Because they think they're like Ben Henderson. So you brought him up before. I detest Bendo because he would squeak out these boring ass decisions, and he'd be grinning from ear to ear, and then you'd ask him the question. It's like, how'd you like the performance? Like, oh, I thought it was great. I thought I did fantastic. Yeah, I'm happy. And he's like grinning from ear to ear. He's not disappointed in himself. He doesn't apologize to the fans or anybody. It's like, no, I did excellent. I'm like, oh, I hate you. Like, oh my God. And it was like a split decision, and it could have gone either way, and it was boring as fuck. And he's like grinning. No.
He paid for it.
I was so glad when they finally cut him.
Have you seen him get raped? He paid for it.
Good.
In
Good.
change.
Yes, I know. I was.
Oh man,
I was very pleased.
He has the hardest head. He got massively.
Yeah, he got splattered.
Oh my God, how was his brain hanging out half of his head? I have no idea. How did they let that fight go?
I don't know.
It was like, call it off. Stop it. We can't watch it anymore.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he got stomped.
I don't remember who was reffing that fight. I don't know if it was Herb Dean, because I know Herb Dean will let you get like murdered if you're getting battered on the ground. He'll let you get murdered before he steps in. But if you're standing up and you just like collapse to a knee or it's a little bit of a flash knockdown, oh, he's waving it off. That's it. No more.
Man, it's so hit and miss. Sometimes they can take so much and they'll just let everything go. And then sometimes one little spot, one punch, boom, that's it, it's all over.
Yeah, but the thing with Herb Dean is that he has both extremes, right? Like sometimes he'll stop it way too soon, usually when they're on their feet and they just collapse for a second. And then when they're on the ground, he doesn't stop it like ever until you're like a bloody pulp. So I don't know. He's so overrated as a ref. My favorite ref is Mark Goddard. Who's your favorite ref? And it used to be Big John. It's too bad he doesn't ref anymore.
Yeah, I gotta go with Big John. I think he's the most level-headed.
He should stop the commentating shit. He's just come back to reffing. Like that's what he's good at. That's where he was the best.
It's a step up. He's probably getting paid more.
Yeah, well, and he's probably wants to like branch out a little bit. He's been doing this his
I
whole
don't think
career.
he's
So yeah.
I think he's got good shit to say. I liked him when he was on Joe Rogan. He's got a lot of shit to talk about. I don't see why he can't be a commentator.
I don't know.
He knows the sport.
I think it's
I'd
just
rather hear
the
him
ways,
than
because
a
there are
lot of the other
so
people.
few. There are so few good, competent refs, and he was one of them. And to see him leave, that was just
True.
sorry.
Yeah, that means he's got to be replaced by someone who doesn't know what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it's
Such
getting
is
late,
life.
and I think maybe we should end this. This was supposed to be a podcast about Kavanaugh, and
Who the
nobody
fuck is
showed up to
Kevin?
talk about Kavanaugh because I really wanted to vent about that because I had a lot to say. But
I thought I said no politics.
why don't you like to talk about politics? Well, you're an Australian, so I can understand why. I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah, that's a pity. Do you follow politics in Australia at least? No. Do you have any other? Yeah.
You know how it's an aging population?
What's that?
You know how it's an aging population?
Oh, it's an aging population in Australia? I didn't know
No,
that.
everywhere. It's
Oh.
caused from World War II.
Oh, okay. Well, it's
You
interesting.
know, most people are like over 45, and the bell curve is like 65 at the moment. Most people alive right now are 65. But unlike America, how voting is up to you, in Australia, it's compulsory.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
And you don't follow it? Like, don't you want to be informed
I
when you vote?
really don't follow it because there's more idiots out there
So when you go
way
in,
outvote me is so not worth it.
so voting is compulsory, and you
Mhm.
know nothing about the candidates. So you go in and what? You just flip a coin?
Donkey
Donkey?
vote, they call it.
I don't know. Donkey here means liberal, like
A
left wing.
donkey vote means that you just throw it away.
Oh, I see. So you don't have to. You can just write in. Is that what you mean? You write in a
You
candidate?
just sign your name off. You do what you just like put
Okay.
a straight line through all of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I
You
like
don't actually vote.
that always bugged me about people though. Some people who like they take the time to go stand online.
No, but
They
you have
drive
to.
down to the poll.
No,
Well, okay, no,
you
you're
get
right.
fined
In your
if you
case,
don't.
right? In your case, you have a
So
good
it's
excuse.
totally the opposite.
But here in the United States, it's different, right? There are people who literally
They choose
they
to do it.
drive down, they go to the polling station, they stand online, and then they write in like Mickey Mouse or some shit or
I
some
would
other
vote
person.
if only the people that voted chose to vote, because then I know that bell curve isn't those 65-year-olds. It's more evenly spread.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's what other topics do you like to discuss? Because I mean I talk about all sorts of topics. I love philosophy. I love politics, programming, just almost anything really,
What are you programming?
except like a lot. C, C++, Java, Node, JavaScript.
Cool.
What about you? What's your favorite language?
I learned C++ first, and then went to a bit of Java, and then ended up at work doing that National Instruments, which was the 4th gen.
Okay.
Which is different. The wiring God diagram type stuff to code. But you could plug in like a ODBC and stuff, and you could just have that as like an API or whatever. You just import it, and then you'd have and you'd send SQL commands. So you'd open up a little dialog, and you'd write in the SQL command, and you'd have that as your input, and then you'd have a little black box, and then it simulates the same thing, but I don't know. I hate Linux. I grew up on Linux. I used OS2 and all that bullshit.
Oh, dude,
Before,
when was your first computer? Because I got my first computer, I think 1994,
okay.
and then
Well,
before that, I had a VIC 20. You ever heard of a VIC 20? I mean, that's
no,
old school. That's like 80s shit. No,
I'm,
night, yeah.
I'm pretty sure in '93 I was on the internet. I was one of the first 200,000 users, and it was text based only, and we were using a
Yeah,
2400.
BBSs. I used to be on BBSs as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Well, before the internet, we used BBSs, and we had a couple of people that we used to phone up on our
Do,
2400 board.
do you
And
remember? Uh-huh.
yeah, go.
Yeah, go ahead, finish.
Well, my brother did start doing computer science. He's older than me, so we got aligned to the university. So we installed Linux so we could dial up the uni, and then from the uni we could access the internet. We could telnet, and we could use Pine and get, you know, use groups and
Fine. Oh man,
yeah,
that brings back memories.
UUing codes and
Yeah,
porn
yeah.
pictures and
Oh, dude. Okay, what was it like the first time that you loaded up like a girl in a bikini or whatever on like one of those BB, or you like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Because I remember it took me like forever to load the first picture. I think it was a picture of like, I don't know, Cindy Crawford or some shit. And she was in a bikini. And I remember when it took like an hour to
oh, it took
load.
like yeah.
But I remember when it fully loaded, I'm like, oh my God, this is so amazing.
Well, for us on the uni account, you would have to you'd log in and then you would find it on in Pine in the news group, and you would save it to its local hard drive, and then you would have to get it from that drive to your drive, and you encode it in between, and there were so many steps. It was ridiculous, and then you could see it, and it would take forever. It was ridiculous,
Yeah.
especially early music.
Yeah.
That's what really took a long time. Like I can remember getting some early techno stuff that was just looped,
I used to
and it
collect all sorts
sounded
of
pretty
MP3s. Like,
cool.
did you? I
Yeah,
had like thousands of them.
you know that one. I've got the power.
Yes, yes, yes. And I
That was
remember Winamp was like the big one. I knew the
yeah.
author of Winamp. Like, yeah.
No way.
I used to actually he used to come into the Win programming channel, and he used to ask for. I remember that because he was like a newbie. He would come in the channel, and I'd like be telling him how to like do certain things in programming or whatever.
And he
And
made money.
look and he knows who he also used to come in the channel, Napster. He was
Yeah.
a
Okay. No way.
total noob, and I'd be like
Well, they were
explaining to him
college
like
kids.
he used to be asking like basic C++ questions and Windows programming questions, and then he goes and becomes a fucking billionaire. I'm like, oh my God,
I had
if
the
I had
vision.
just jumped in on that,
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes you miss those opportunities. But
So my first computer, we didn't have one. My mum was a teacher, and during school holidays, when I was in primary school, she'd bring one home for the holidays. So I had it for like 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there, and I can still remember one of my rich friends. He had one full time, and I'd climb up on the phone. He'd go, press, and he'd give me a 3.5-inch floppy, press CD space and copy, put it over it, and we would do like, what was some of those games? Oh man, just 2D platformers where you'd fucking
right,
so much fun, but so much fun.
yeah,
And
I
then,
mean,
and then, 5 years later, I'm telling him how to fucking do shit because I've got the modem by then, and
yeah, I'll
I've
never,
BBS.
yeah, I'll never forget like all those different ISPs like remember like when you call in with the dial-up, I had the 14.4 modem. Like 14.4 modem actually at the time was like
It
supposed
was
to be
pretty
really
quick.
fast.
It was
Yeah, because before that it was 20, I think it was 2400 baud
a
or something.
9600.
Yeah.
There was a
It was just
9600.
so slow. I mean, I don't think people realize just how slow that is. And when I went to college, right? We had a T1 network, and it was like 100 megabits per second or something like that. Um, and then I was like blown away. No, 100 kilobytes per second. Sorry, and I was like blown away. I was like, oh my God, this is so fast! 100 kilobytes per second. Holy shit! But
Well, that's what we used to do. We'd go to the uni, and you could log in with your account, and it was fiber optic to San Francisco, even though we're in Australia. So if you had the know-how and you knew how to log in, like to other places, like FTP and stuff, and back then they had zip drives. Remember the zip drives?
Yeah, I do. Yep, yep.
You could download like a motherfucker.
But zip drive, that's actually newer. Before that, there were those
Well,
tape.
90.
Remember those tape
It's like
drives?
'98
I
and
forget what
stuff.
you call them now, but they had literally tape drives, like these thick
Yeah.
little, like.
Well, that's the Commodore stuff. That's like '80s.
Well, no. This was actually newer than that. Yeah, it was newer than that. It was actually a tape. I forget the name of the
Yeah,
technology.
like a cassette tape, like a legit
Like
cassette
a
tape.
little cassette. Yes, it's thick.
I've seen
Yeah.
I've seen a Commodore with like it looks like a music cassette tape. It's
Mhm.
exactly the same. You put it in and it loaded up Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh,
And
dude,
sometimes it wouldn't work properly. You'd have to rewind it and try it again.
I remember.
It'll
Did you
wouldn't
have
work properly.
Did you have a Commodore 64?
No.
Because I
A
got one of
cousin
those.
had it. They were too expensive. Our
And
family
it was
couldn't
ridiculous
afford.
because it was just like a keyboard. That's all it was, a keyboard. And then it would come with like this manual. And then at the end of it, there would all be all these little like programs that you could type in manually.
Oh, yeah.
And I would type it
You'd
in,
never
and
save
it would
it.
take hours to type it all in. And if you fuck
Yeah,
up anything, you have to start over, right?
uh-huh.
And all it would do is like make a little yellow ball bounce across the screen. And I remember being so excited, like, oh, it's so fucking cool.
It makes you appreciate it.
And I
Well,
first of all, and I had no idea what I just coded because I'm just copying
you
from
just get copy paste, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Well, there was no
Finish it.
pasting. You literally had to type it by hand. But yeah.
Even worse is the fucking old school punch cards.
Oh shit, though, dude, that's fucking major old
You
school.
like our
When I used to work for the
professors.
government, and we had like Fortran, and yeah, we had like those punch cards, like COBOL and all that crazy shit. Oh my God. That is major old school. But these days, because they still have like mainframes out there, like old
They
that
would.
some government systems depend on. And, there's very
They
few
can't
COBOL
afford to upgrade.
developers. So they're in like high demand because they're so rare and they pay them a lot.
A good the what's that satellite? The first one. You know how they send two fucking space objects, whatever.
Hmm.
Endeavor or whatever. What are they called?
Are you talking about the rovers?
No, the ones that are going into outer
Oh,
space. They're sending
Voyager?
that. Yeah, Voyager.
Okay.
Yeah, they recently had to update the software on the Voyager, and they had to. NASA had to go. The guy, he's retired. He's our dude. We
They
need
probably
someone
paid him
who
a
knows this
fortune.
old school programming language. We can.
Yeah.
He has about 8 bytes to work with, and
That's
we need to give it
crazy.
instructions to update it. But they're still working. Yeah, they worked it out.
That is crazy.
Man, they had no memory back then. We think we're good, like in the year 2000. No, we got it too easy.
I mean, it is amazing that the kind of technology that they used back in the 60s to get us to the moon and shit, like that is fucking it's like my fucking my smartwatch has more computing capabilities
Way more.
than
Way
that.
more. It was
That
all
is
hardware.
astonishing.
There was a button. There was a wire going directly to that transistor.
It's fascinating.
That was the computer.
I have a conspiracy theorist family member who actually thinks the moon landing, like because of that, because he thinks like they're gonna make it to the moon on that technology. Please, that's ridiculous. So he thinks the moon landing was a hoax.
Yeah.
So do you have anybody in your family or anybody you know that's like that? Like,
No, but I had something to trump that. In my work, my field, EEG, right? I do EEG, set up electrodes, read biofeedback.
right?
When do you think the first EEG was made?
I have no idea.
Have a guess. What year?
What year?
Yeah. This puts what your conspiracy theorists into context. What year was the first discovery of reading electrical signals off biomatter?
I don't know. Tell me.
1880.
Why is that year special?
No, that was the first. 1880.
What
They
happened in eight? What happened in
They
1880?
discovered EEG,
That's when they discovered EEG.
the recording of electrical signals, like reading your heart, EEG,
Oh, really?
on a little,
Yeah, like an electrocardiogram. Okay.
EEG, 1880.
Wow. How?
Wasn't even computers back then.
That's weird.
That was this discovery, 1880. It got lost, and they didn't do it until the 1920s, and then 1960s they started it again, and then and now we use it for sleep. Back then it wasn't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have. Yeah. I haven't.
So of course by 1960 something, 1880, they're reading people's fucking
Oh, well, I mean, if you
We
go back
we
even further than that, some people think uh, Atlantis is where people had like all this amazing technology, but then they got, destroyed or whatever, or lost, and you know, and then there are people like wars have destroyed civilizations where people
they
speculate
didn't
that
have
these were
silicon chips.
highly advanced society. No, but they did find like really primitive computers, like really old, like in
Oh, they knew
like
how
not
they knew
but
math, so
ancient
they knew how
times.
to count. You know what I'm
No, but I
discovering?
mean like a real computer, like not like as sophisticated as what we have, obviously, but
No, silicon.
it was weird. Like I remember they found this contraption. They didn't know what it was, but then
Back in
after they
1880,
analyzed
it
it
was
for
the
years,
valve
they
thing. It was
discovered that this was actually a very primitive computer. It's
so it had
fascinating.
zero and ones. It had a reflection of zero and ones.
I guess I have no idea how it worked, but
But that's the definition of a computer. You have multiple of zero and ones in it.
well, I mean, I guess typical. There's quantum computers as well, so I mean, computing just means
They weren't
process.
doing quantum back then.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, as far as we know, right?
They're
As
not
far
even
as
doing
we
it
know.
now.
Can you imagine if there really was a civilization that advanced back then and really got just destroyed by something like
I don't. I
a
don't
meteor?
really. I don't really see that. But what
Yeah,
I
me
do
neither.
see is that in the future, how weird shit is going to get. That's what
Oh
fascinates me
yeah,
more.
like AI and automation and shit.
In another 100 years, like my grandfather saw the horse and cart, and to know, to the car, to the this, to
That's
that,
great. I know.
and
But
then
dude,
into
just
computers, and then imagine what we're gonna see.
yeah, no, yeah, you don't have to go back 100 years, dude. Like
Well,
just
it's
just
not
think
that
about
far,
how much society has changed
and it's
technologically in the past
growing
25 years.
fast. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you got someone like Elon Musk, you know, because the first car in 1908 was electric.
Elon Musk has
The
serious
very
problems.
first car, 1908, was electric.
What was
And it
that?
took the very first car in 1908 was electric
Wow.
before gas. And it took us all this time to get back to electric.
I can't. I'm really looking forward to like so that this everything is self-driving because that's one of the things that I don't think that I'm going to die of a heart attack or cancer or anything like that, but the most likely way that I will die is in a car accident, right? Just I mean, I don't see what
Ride a
else could
motorbike every day.
realistically, well, especially for you, yeah. So speaking of that, I don't think there's any there's any self-driving motorcycles in the
Uh,
pipeline anytime soon.
uh, it's going to be sad when you can't register your own vehicle and ride it freely.
But I look for, you know how many lives will be saved when that day comes? And did you hear that they actually cured
Save the children,
they cure well,
please.
no, save me. What the fuck? Fuck
It's
children.
not that bad.
Uh, but
Jesus Christ.
well, I mean, if anything's gonna kill you, it's gonna be something like that, probably.
More
I mean,
people
at least in
probably
my in
die
my case,
smoking or obesity these
yeah,
days, to
in
be
your well, not in
honest.
my case, but in your case, I don't know, maybe.
Have you looked around when you go to the shops these days? How obese everyone is.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just talking. But that's a choice, man. That really is.
So is
If you
driving.
if you if you eat right and you exercise, you can take care of like most of that.
Yeah, of course you can. It's not, it's, not-
Right.
it's
So that's what
not
I'm. That's
hard.
why I'm saying. That's why I'm not.
If you drive
that
right,
doesn't. But
you
you
could take care of that
can't
too.
control. But see, that's in your control. Whereas how other people drive, that's not like especially people getting distracted with like text messages and shit.
Yeah, that's scary.
That's why I'm really looking forward to the day when all cars are like
You
self-driving.
you won't own a car then, but
I was actually thinking about buying
you
a Tesla, to be
you
honest.
just punch into your phone. I need a car at this time, and it'll turn up at the front, and then you walk in, and then it'll go, and then you'll get there, and it'll drop off, and it'll go somewhere else. You won't need a car.
That is super badass.
You won't need insurance. It'll change the
I could
market.
see
And
that.
that's why it won't
I
happen.
could see that
So
being
many
like
people
that in
will
the
lose
next 20
money.
years. What's
Yeah, I
that?
reckon. People lose money. Do you
Well,
know
that's
how
another.
much money
Well, yeah, that's
parents?
another problem with automation. Like as more and more of
Yeah,
these
affects the
workers are
infrastructure.
displaced, what do people do? I think, man. Well, the thing, they're gonna have to become programmers or something because there are so many
Basic income.
jobs but until that gets automated, then. But oh man,
Yeah. Imagine a quantum computer. You could do a heaps better the job than you can.
yeah, that's why
Programming.
I actually don't like
It'll
it
just make
when I hear
make the
Google come.
solution.
Yeah. When I hear Google, like, I don't know. I think I read an article recently where I don't know if it was Google or Microsoft, but they came up with like some sort of visual language where you don't even need to be a programmer in order to like write a program. Like it's like I don't know how they did it. I didn't really read into it, but eventually I could see something like that where just a layman can just create a computer program. So it kind of like
It's
obviates
just
the
like
need for
making a web
programming.
page. They got templates,
Yeah.
and you just point and click, and here you go. It's like a Word document. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
There you go. Does it?
All that everything's getting easier like that. Services for
The
everything
thing is, but
practically.
those things cost a lot of money because someone's done the back end that does it.
True. But
See
that's
that?
actually getting like cloud services are getting cheaper and cheaper. And actually, you actually save money. Like instead of hiring like a team of engineers, sometimes you're actually better off just using a cloud service. It's actually much more economical. So
I wouldn't
I don't
know.
know.
I'm not in that area anymore.
So I don't know,
I
man. 20
lost touch.
years, 20 years seems I have a feeling that you know
What
what
do
I
you
think is
reckon
that
VR is in 20 years?
VR and AR, I think they
Yeah.
are going to be
Especially with the phone.
huge.
You get a new phone every year.
Because I think that's going to be the most transformative. Like for in our generation, I would say like it's probably the internet that was the most transformative. But I think the next evolution beyond that, the next truly you know, transformative advancement is going to be in VR or AR. One of those two.
Computers keep getting better,
Maybe
but those
AI. One
phones,
of those.
man, that's driving. That is on another level. The iPhones and shit.
Well, that's kind of
Ooh.
like plateauing. Like you see how like
You know
every
how
new
powerful they are?
generation, yeah, but
Do you know
every new generation
how
of
many they
iPhones,
sell?
it seems to get
There
like
is so
there's
many
less
shit
shit they can.
behind it, though.
I
There's
don't know
more money behind that than
how
anything.
Moore's law. Are we close
Yeah, we got to
to?
double it every 18 months, is it?
Yeah, has that started to slow down at all, or is that plateaued at all?
No, not yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
They'll find a new way.
I
I
think
just saw a new thing they can write on atoms
I mean, they're getting
to
really
store it.
small. They're getting really down there to the point where I
Oh,
think maybe the
but
next step would be quantum computing because they're just
But what
getting
I
so
just
small.
read was that
These
when they go from 10 nanometers to 7 nanometers,
they're already
that,
down to 7. Yeah, I
that's not it's not actually 7. That's just a term that they use.
not really.
10 doesn't mean it's 10, and 7 doesn't mean it's 7. It just means it's the next iteration. I've read this paper on it.
Hmm.
It's misleading.
But I mean, yeah, once you get to that point though, there's not much. there's nowhere left to go aside from maybe quantum computing. But
They
that's
can't
like
mass
a
produce it.
that's a
That's a long
special.
way. I think that's 50, 100
Yeah,
years
and
off.
it's specialized. That's like more for like parallel computing
Cryptography.
and that sort of thing. Has very specific
It's breaking
applications.
things. Yeah, it's breaking numbers and stuff.
Yeah.
The
And
best
like
way I
like the current quantum computers, they require like super cooling and shit. But I think there's ones that actually work at room temperature. I think they've developed a few that actually work at room temperature.
from what I
So,
understand is that they come from they come to a number because they cannot be just 0 or 1, they can be both. And then depending on how many of those you have, they can all be 0 or 1 or both together.
well, it's not just 0 or 1. They have different spin states, so they can have
Yeah,
like
so it
many
can be
different.
both or any in between.
Yeah, right,
It
exactly.
can be the grey. So it can do many multiplications all at once because it just happens because they are in all those states at once.
Right.
But the problem is making sense of it,
Yeah. Well, I think the main
which means
problem
it has to
is
be a
just.
major specific
Well,
application.
I think that yeah, I think the trickiest thing is just all the error correction that needs to be done because we're talking at the quantum level, so any little perturbation can like fuck with your calculation. So they have to like do all these controls to, you know, control for all those variables. So it's a really tricky problem, but I think within 20 years it'll probably be
But
solved.
that's easy for computers to do. Error correction is very, numbers, very create numbers.
Well, I mean, I think this
That's
is
what
more of a
computers are made
it's more
for.
of a physical problem than an algorithmic problem. But
Okay.
I mean, it's already been done, but it's just they have to make it more
They can't mass
practical.
produce it though.
Yeah,
That's
it
because they
hasn't
can't
been.
make them
It's not
large. They can't
consumer
do a
ready.
lot of stuff. They can do it very, very tiny.
Yeah, it's very experimental now, but
Mm.
eventually it will be consumer ready, and it'll be
I
in.
like the idea, but I don't know how it's gonna go. I have my doubts. The same as AI. I kind of have my doubts on AI.
Well, AI, man. Speaking of AI, I don't know. Have you been watching the top chess engine championship? Do you watch that? I mean, you don't have to
Is
be
that
a
cool?
you don't have to be a chess player actually. You just it's just fascinating to watch. What makes it fascinating is that they've introduced this new chess engine that works
Okay.
with artificial intelligence, like neural networks. Like all the other ones use these AB algorithms, but this new one, Leela, it works the way AlphaGo or AlphaZero used to work, where basically it's reinforced learning, machine learning. So it would just play by they just give it the rules of chess, and then it just plays itself like millions of times, and it learns how all these strategies that have been all by itself, even deeper strategies. It's remarkable to watch. So anyway, what's exciting about
See,
this is
I don't call it AI.
I know we've had this debate before. Let's not go there. But but anyway, what's exciting is that they finally her name's Leela. That's what
Yeah.
they call this program. And they finally introduced her into this program into this championship. And at first she was kind of crappy. She wasn't really competitive with the top engines. But then in this last tournament at chess.com, uh, she actually took fourth place. So she's right there. She actually beat the number one, Komodo, who was like the world champion at the time. Uh, and she defeated it. Like that is a remarkable achievement. There is no human input. There's no heuristics built in. There's no algorithms. It's all self-learned. That is astonishing to think that these carefully crafted programs that are tailored for the game of chess, with input from grandmasters and all sorts of whatever. And this program, with just 3 months of self-training, is already competitive with the top chess engines in the world. Top three. You don't find why are you smirking? You don't seem all that impressed.
No.
I remember when we had this debate. The reason that you weren't impressed because you're thinking of AGI, like general artificial intelligence.
It's already
You're
a
talking about
finite
that.
amount of solutions for one.
Right. We're not talking about something that passes the
It's
Turing
chess.
test, and
And Who programmed it to run its own? It does have algorithms.
No, it does. You don't. They have no idea how it works. It learns. It's a neural network. It's basically the way that human brains work.
I know, but
like a
they've got
baby.
programming behind the neural network to
No,
make it
no,
generate, make it run.
well, yeah. I mean, sure, the general machinery, but not the algorithms, not the logic,
You
not the
get a
strategy,
6-month-old baby to run it.
not the
Just
strat. Like the strategy is not built in. The strategy is learned. It builds its own. In fact, it comes up with moves that nobody has ever considered before. Like I'll give you an example. There are some really fascinating games where it will like trade pieces. Do you play chess at all?
deliberately, yeah, of course.
Like where a human or even one of these
It'll
80
give up
chess engines, they would never give up like a
The bait.
queen for like a positional advantage. But it does this like yeah, whatever, because it doesn't care. It has no emotional attachment to the value of a piece. But then it ends up like cornering its opponent, and even though it's got much more material, it's got much more valuable pieces on the board, but it can't do them because they're all blocked off. They have a terrible position. It is fascinating. I mean,
it didn't give it up for nothing, then, did it?
no, right? It gave it up for a positional advantage, but that's what I'm saying. Like you can't program that because even humans, even a
before,
even the top grandmaster in the world would not be bold enough to do something like that.
They calculate it. That's how they win.
No, because a human can only think like what a few dozen.
Forget these champions think a lot ahead.
They cannot think millions of moves deep, or like hundreds of moves deep.
That's why they follow patterns to start with.
I don't know, man. You seem really cynical when it comes to like AI. I think it's just
only because a computer, if it's got 3 months to compute, it better have billions of fucking knowledge. It better be the best because it can like crunch so many numbers so quick. So if it does it in 30 seconds, I'm impressed. Does it in 3 months?
Well, I remember, like I said, the last time we had this talk, you were confusing artificial intelligence with artificial general intelligence. So what you're looking is like for something like Data from Star Trek. Do you watch Star Trek? Like that android that is like indistinguishable from a human, and
I don't expect it to be that. It's a game of chess. Come on, that's not human.
No, I know that, but what I'm saying is like artificial general intelligence was awesome. That's great. That's the next frontier. But I'm saying artificial intelligence in and of itself is remarkable because it can be trained to do
things that
traditionally can only be done by humans. But now these programs, these general purpose programs, can actually do tasks better than humans can. That
it's kind of still making a database and doing a lookup.
It's not that simple.
Whereas it can't do like
of course there's searching involved in there,
and
but
do a judgment call decision.
Well, I mean, it does develop strategies. It does develop. I mean, it's not conscious, right? It's not.
I know that's what I call
learning in that sense, but I don't know. I think you're.
And I know I have high expectations.
You do. You even did it with like Connor and Eddie Alvarez. You're a cynic, man. You're a cynic.
I'm allowed to be. No, but some people I like.
Some people are what?
I like. I'm more behind certain people.
I don't know.
I guess I'm the bad people.
I don't know. I'm a little bit more optimistic than you. I think I get more excited about new technologies and new achievements, and you're like, that's nothing. That's not really a big deal.
The phone is ridiculous. Do you see the iPhone 10? Holy shit!
See what?
It's the iPhone 10 is better than a laptop these days.
Well, the iPhone 10, I don't know why you mentioned that one, because actually the Samsung software is better. I mean, the hardware is better. The UI, Apple, the iOS UI, in my opinion, is better than most.
Only because Android blows.
But
I don't
hardware wise,
know.
I don't know, that's kind of like that's not even really disputable. If you actually look at the specs side by side, the Samsung Galaxy's phones usually have much better specs, better camera, more memory, faster speed, faster processor.
My only point was that every year they get better and better,
Well, yeah,
and
but
they
that's kind
sell
of
so
plateauing.
many
It's
of them.
not, they're
No, they
not.
will. They will. They will.
Well,
They'll keep going.
I don't know. I think that the biggest, I think there was a consensus that this year, the biggest achievement for Apple was the Apple Watch, the version 4
Oh,
line.
it gets
Yeah,
EKG.
that has gotten significantly better. But in terms of the iPhone, not there wasn't really that much introduced that was like earth-shattering.
I got a SE. I got a shitty.
I don't even have an iPhone. I have a
It's on
Samsung
this
Galaxy
thing.
S8, and it's okay.
Yeah, does the job.
Yeah, it does the job.
I don't get the big new ones. Whatever.
Yeah. All right,
But
man. It's kind of late. I think I want
yeah,
to head out now. It's 2 o'clock in the morning here. So
thanks.
it
Man.
was good chatting with you. You want to do this again? Because we're going to be doing this again. I think, yeah, I think after Connor's press conference this week, we're going to be doing another
Okay.
podcast to discuss the upcoming event. Malk is going to be there. Late should be there. I think a bunch of people are going to come. So yeah, you're welcome to come. It was
Awesome.
fun.
Thanks for inviting me.
All right. It was cool seeing you for the first time. Yeah.
No
All
worries.
your muscles and your little striptease there. That was a little awkward, but
Tell me about it.
yeah.
I gotta live with it.
All right, man. I'll see you soon.
See you, man.
All right. Bye.